here we go. Broadcasting live, this is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. With your hosts, Honest Abe and Adam K. the Brewmeister. Listen to the show anywhere in the free world at KMATalkRadio.com.
I like to smoke them like some Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning, loyal listeners, libertarians, lovers of the leaf, everyone out there in Radio Land. Welcome to another exciting edition of KMA Talk Radio. I am Adam K. the Brewmeister. We are here broadcasting live on this, the 25th of January. Can you believe it's already that far into the year 2020?
He's such an old man.
What?
Can you believe it's already 2020?
No, I'm just saying it's I'm just saying, can you believe it's
I'm
the
gonna
25th day of 2020?
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to write some one-liners for you to open the show with so you don't have to talk about the day of the month.
Didn't we talk about you just doing that?
I
or
mean,
you just feel you can't do both? It's too much for you?
What's he
It's
going to
too
do
much for
then?
you.
What? I mean,
It'll be non-color commentary.
Shit.
he's so upset. All right, we can...
You know what? Screw you, Paul. Screw you.
Go ahead. You're good at your job. I just, I want to give you some content.
Screw you.
Listen, it's better than that whole, all the ships that sail at sea thing that he used to utter all
Come
the time.
on,
Yeah, he
that
got
was
rid of that.
great. That's classic
The
radio.
tide rises all boats.
Yeah.
Right.
he
Rises
he's-
or raises.
he's-
Everyone out there in Radio Land, come on.
he steals it from other broadcasters.
Yes, it's classic. It's paying tribute to classic broadcasting.
It's like when guys are like, hey, let's go pay some bills. I used to have a program director that said, next time you say that, you're fired. You're never going to be on the air again on Long Island. He
I like
specifically
that guy.
told me that.
Is he looking for a job?
Actually, yes, he is.
He probably might
It's
be,
funny you
yeah.
mention it. He just got let go at his
With
station.
me, of course, Mr. Honest Abe.
Hello? Is he in our producer price range?
No. Well, I mean,
Maybe.
Yeah, in South Florida, you could probably get people to move from
make
New
him a
York.
deal.
Yeah, just tell him it's never below. Well, I was gonna say never below 50, but the other day it was. So
Well, we might be able to upgrade finally.
I don't know if he'd be an upgrade. He's in his late 70s, so.
Well, it's hard to downgrade. I mean, let's just be real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, we could do a thing. Be the producer for a week.
Oh,
Let one of your.
somebody, a guest producer, like somebody guest produce.
Weird.
I mean, but wait.
Then what
you're
happens when you realize how bad you really are?
No, but here's the thing. You're saying guest produce. If we get a guy in the industry, he's not going to have to do all the real work that I do.
Get real producers.
Oh, well, no, I don't want that.
And he admits to his fault.
Yeah.
No, what I meant, if one of your staff members wants to do it for a week, literally from Sunday to Saturday, they do everything that I do during the week.
And how much is that?
What are they going to do with the other 48 hours of the week?
Well, they have to have a real job too, like I do.
196 hours
And
they've got
maybe
left.
somebody with a kid
Right.
and a kid on the way. That would be
whining.
good.
Oh, you went to the kid zone. Look at you. Oh. How is Mama?
She's good.
Yeah, driving you nuts yet?
We went to the South Florida Fair yesterday, which was
The
probably
cesspool?
a mistake.
I told you. I texted you one word.
I know.
When you told me you were going. What did I
We've-
say?
Cesspool. We've gone a couple times, and
If I may, the best thing I've ever had to compare to the fair. A fair is
You've been to the fair?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think so.
I was
No,
kind
no.
of shocked
No.
that Adam had gone to the fair.
No, this is a Mick quote.
Oh, who? Mitt Romney?
No, the Mick.
Oh, the Mick.
This is a Mick quote. The fair is a lot like a strip club. All you do is spend money, and you come back smelling funny.
Well, thanks. My wife's going to appreciate that. She's going to think that's me.
It's actually pretty accurate, sadly enough. Does he ever come to Florida?
Only for, yeah.
I mean, so he doesn't.
No.
so he didn't want to do the show while he was
I would
there?
love to get him on the show. He was one of the original cast.
Yeah.
I'd
The,
love-
the first show,
First
wasn't he
show.
on?
He was the first 13 weeks. Was
We
the
had
Mick.
no idea.
Yeah, I'd love to get the Mick just on as a guest.
He sounds like a pretty fascinating guy, right? Isn't he the one that's retired at his young
No,
age?
he's not.
Well, he was. He
Oh.
was retired at one point. But, yeah, the Mick and Adam being very close friends kind of really puts it all in a nutshell on what you need to know about the Mick.
Yeah, but there might be some key information he could give us about
he's
Adam.
got tons of information.
That might be good.
He's got tons of information. But
Is he on Facebook?
A very eccentric and unique individual.
So he's not on Facebook then?
No, I think he is.
He is.
He is.
Oh, I'll find him.
I have his cell.
Yeah, we should ask him if he wants to call in. He's not going to come. He's a recluse,
Oh, he'd
right?
call it. No, he'd come. He's not a recluse.
No, he would
He
not.
just does-
He would not
if
come
he was
to Florida.
in town, if he was in town, he would come.
No, he's never coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get him here. Just like your grandma will never show
the
up.
Mick is the famous guy who Adam cooked the pot roast for, and when he didn't come home to have dinner with Adam, like he got like hate.
It was a Seinfeld
Sure.
reference.
He got hate texted like, how dare you? How dare you? I'm never cooking dinner for you again.
It was a Seinfeld joke. I'm making a Seinfeld reference, okay? How does no one get that?
I get it, but
Mick seemed pretty worked up about it.
it was. But you were pretty upset, I see.
It was. No, I was not upset. I was trying to make a joke on a Seinfeld reference.
Adam doesn't like to admit when he's upset, because I think that means like he's like his like
That
Spock.
he has feelings?
Yeah, that his Spock-like personality. Then his fault.
Yeah.
He'll never tell you like how crushed he still is that Lady M left.
Oh, him and I have had discussions
It's like a
about
deep,
it.
deep wound.
Yeah, and he's more upset that she
I don't
didn't
wanna
talk
talk
to him
about
about
that.
Look
it
at him. I don't want to
first.
talk about it. Look at him. Did you hear him?
Look
I don't
at it.
wanna-
He's
I don't wanna talk
stoic
about
though.
it. Look at him. I don't want to talk about it.
Did you like?
Listen, I'm just like amazed that there are any segments in his life that actually could create any kind of emotion.
But why? Just because he got used to Emily, or because she listened to him,
No,
or like
I
what?
think he really bonded with Emily and he felt betrayed.
Did he feel that way at her wedding?
I don't know.
I'm just asking. Were you upset when Lady M got married?
No, I had a great time. I was the king of the dance floor.
At my wedding as well.
Oh yeah, that's what I am. That's what I do.
With a drunk girl who you slept in the same room with.
She was
That nothing
definitely
happened.
not drunk.
I don't think she was that drunk.
She was not. Trust me.
I have people at the party that would
I don't know. I
dispute
don't
that.
remember getting her that drunk.
Nope, she was not. Trust me, she was like she had maybe 1.5 scotches.
Yeah, but she also had like 6 kavas.
The most yeah, probably. Yeah,
That I didn't see her or was not witness to.
I'm joking.
The most vitality I saw out of her was when she was trying to like duck all the bees at your like lemonade stand.
Oh, really?
yeah.
I know. I heard about. No, it was what was it? Apple cider. We had hard apple cider and apple
cider
cider.
stations outside that were just like beehives.
I know it was a bad move.
That was
we
a
realized
bad scene. Yeah.
we realized that pretty quickly that
This
maybe
is
that
like
wasn't the
invasion
best
of
idea.
the bees.
And then the hard cider got to Stephanie's grandfather. He had too much of it, and he passed out during
Well,
pictures.
you had a girl or a guy that passed out.
No,
We
there
had-
were 2 people.
3 people.
Three people passed out.
went to the hospital
Yeah.
at my wedding. That's how you know it was a good party. I
Yeah,
guess.
well, one person passed out before the wedding actually started.
That was
Before the
Grandpa.
reception. No.
No.
One of the youngest.
No.
That was after. That was when we were walking out.
The reception hadn't started. We were in the courtyard with the little
It was for
food.
cocktail hour. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the
Yeah.
reception.
No,
the party hadn't started.
You're right.
That's when the kid passed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His cousin.
Grandpa passed out beforehand.
Yes.
He's fine, by the way, and he came back. He said to me when he was going out on the stretcher, he goes, "Hey, get your ass over here." I'm like, "What did I do?" "Don't worry, everything's fine." He goes, "Listen, I'm going to miss the actual wedding. I know it'll go fine. Save me a fucking cup of coffee." So as soon as he came back in, I brought him a cup of
That's
coffee. I was like,
funny.
I got you a cup of coffee. He was like, "Thank God."
Yeah, you passed out, Grandpa. Let's pump some more caffeine in you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sure.
It was
just,
decaf.
Just what you need, caffeine. so you have to like go into training to go to a Crocker wedding, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know,
Yeah. Well, I don't think
prepare.
there'll be many more. We had my cousin's wedding. I don't think anybody's getting married anytime soon.
No? Oh.
Nah. And, unless my brother decides to jump in again, but I'm pretty sure he's one and done. He's never going to get married again. I mean, would you?
Get married again?
Yeah, like if
I-
it didn't work out, would you get married
I
again?
can't fathom. And I have a lot of friends, actually, who
Yeah.
have been married 2, 3, even 4 times.
I can't.
I know one.
4.
Yes.
I can't fathom who would do that twice. Now,
Okay.
I could understand if you did it young, you got divorced, you didn't have kids, and you want to start a family.
Right.
But, like, when you had kids, and there's no plan to have kids anymore, and you're kind of past that age of having it, I can't fathom who would do that twice.
Right.
I just can't.
I don't understand it either. And listen, my marriage is great.
We could make a phone call. We could have someone on the phone right now who would
4 times.
try to explain that.
4 times.
Yes.
Tickle,
You
tickle,
know him.
tickle.
I know him.
You
Yeah.
know him.
We'll have to talk in the break. I guess.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
Ronnie's been married 4 times?
4 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's inconceivable.
Does he keep going to younger and younger wives?
I think Bobby's been married 4 times. Zimmerman. I think it's 4.
Really?
Yeah, it's 4, yeah.
He's 4 too?
He's 4 too. Yeah.
I know at least 2 of them, but
No,
We
he's
have
4
a
too.
we have a guest that we have on all the time from the Florida Cigar Club. Mike Palmer always talks about this is his 3rd.
Are
We should
you
ask
kidding me?
We should ask him to do a dissertation on how many times you could take a hammer and want to pummel your cock before you kind of say, this doesn't really feel too well.
yeah.
Just curious.
That is 4
good
times
analogy.
is excessive, man.
A good
And
analogy?
I mean, I don't
want to.
I don't want to say
your
that.
Cock?
I don't want to say that.
Because look, it's not.
I'm afraid to say
it's
it.
not that it's how it feels when you're happily married, but man, when it goes south. I mean, listen. Even when you have a bad little ride in your happy marriage, it's rough, right?
Yeah, marriage is difficult.
Imagine going
It's
through
not
a divorce
easy.
and going that south and then saying, let me get married and may have to go through this again. Right? I mean, there's a level of masochism there that just I don't fathom.
Yeah, but some people can't be alone. I know guys that are constantly they're like serial monogamists that have to be with somebody, and women don't stay around if you don't marry them half the
Do
time.
what I told Rocky Patel to do.
What's that?
Get a dog. I'm not kidding you. When Rocky was turning 50, we were having lunch where he was telling me, I want to go, Abe, I want to get married. I'm like, what the fuck you want to get married for? You're 50. I mean, seriously.
Is he married now?
No.
Oh, he's not.
Like, I'm all alone. Get a dog, dude. The dog's always going to be happy to see you.
Yeah.
Every day, no matter what.
And once you get to that
You don't believe
age,
that? I got an experiment for you. Take your wife, lock her in a trunk for 3 hours.
Oh, great.
Drive around town and do that with your dog. When you open the trunk, see who's actually excited and happy to see you. I promise you, it's the dog. The wife won't be that happy, I promise.
No. Go to the bathroom, come back. Guess who's happy to see you?
The dog. Yes.
You
Get
open
a
the door.
dog.
Oh my God! You came back.
I see
Oh.
Adam's a dog guy now, so he's
Of course he is.
he's
I've
bonding
always
with
been
you.
a dog guy.
Did you have dogs?
He's an affectionate dog guy.
Yeah, he shows me pictures of his dogs
Dude,
daily.
he's like emotionally attached. He's very,
At
it's-
least he
it's-
can do.
How can you not be? That dog is adorable.
Look, listen.
Hold on, go ahead, show it to the camera.
He has he has slivers of humanity. Really.
Yeah, you got that in there?
Yeah, we got it.
How
Don't
is
worry.
she not
Now it's
adorable?
blank.
Come on.
And what I like to call
But we got it.
And what I like to call the purge of 2020. Obviously, there's been now another press release this week of another pulling out of the PCA show. Phillips and Kings. I don't know if you saw it.
I did see that.
I mean, honestly, I just really think that they've just kind of been looking for a reason to get out probably for the last 5 years, right?
Are they as big? Like, are they?
Oh,
as
they're
one
huge.
Okay.
But they're not premium cigar huge, right?
Okay.
They're mostly.
They've got a
made
lot of
their-
hands and a lot of pots.
So this
Yeah.
was an excuse for them to get out because the other guys are out.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, they
and they run the TPE.
they run they own the TPE.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
which was only a new acquisition a couple of years ago. But honestly, look, they've made their money mostly by selling a lot of cloves and clove cigarettes and flavored cigarettes over the years, and they built it. And they do have some premium cigar lines, and I think they're a good wholesaler for like smaller shops that don't want to deal with one company and have to order a minimum and they
Right.
get one of this and one of this, and I think they do a lot of that. But their presence at the PCA, I'm still trying to get used to calling that. I don't know how relevant it's been over the last few years, and I think they were just looking for a reason to get out. And I call it now the purge of 2020. Look, at the end of the day, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think
It
a
might
lot
be
of
good
things,
for these boutique guys
Well,
Listen,
too.
the other
if-
thing is, I have it from an inside source that they were tied to the Big Four too, and on getting out.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they were doing all they can to woo them to get out.
Yeah, no, they were tied to the Big Four in the get out, and I have that on a source I talked to on Thursday.
You talk to people?
Yeah,
Wow.
I had to talk to a very specific person on Thursday about a thing. That,
But I think if the guys at the PCA, Scott and the team there, really pivot, it's kind of like trimming a bonsai tree, right? You make it better by cutting it down. If they really pivot,
I could see that. Yeah.
clean out, make it more of a premium association with the right goals and motives, start catering to the group as a whole and not individual segments.
show floor.
I think that's going to happen now inevitably,
Yeah.
right? I think they could hopefully turn it around, but we'll have to see. I'm going to do my best to go this year. Just see.
Oh,
what
are you
happens.
you're gonna go?
Well, it's
When
funny.
is it?
Middle of July.
See, that's the problem. Like we've been planning this 4 or 5 week trip for like years now to take my kids overseas.
Yeah.
And having a trade show that falls right in the middle of summer doesn't really
Right.
help
Vibe with
help
kids that are out of
plan
school.
that
Not
out.
to mention,
yeah.
who wants to go to Vegas in July?
I mean, we live in Florida. Who cares? It's the same thing.
No, it's not. It's a dry heat, and it's not comfortable.
He's on, dude. He's on fire today.
Wow.
A dry heat is. I'll take a dry heat over
A dry
humidity
heat?
every day.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen to me. I'm going to tell you something. I'll never forget. We landed one year because they say, "Oh, it's a dry heat." Listen, let me tell you something. When it's 114, I don't
It
care
doesn't
what kind
matter.
of heat. Yeah.
Yeah.
We landed, and when we got out of the airport, and we were waiting in the line to get a car. Okay, it was like 114 degrees.
Ugh.
When we got in the car, he says, "Where are you going?" I said, "The first 7-Eleven you can find." Give me somewhere. I need to drink something. I need water.
I need
dying.
electrolytes.
This is not a joke. This is a 100% true story. Because they'll give you a little bottle of water in line, then you guzzle it down.
Yeah.
30 minutes later, you're dying. Literally, I'm like, "Where are you going?" 7-Eleven, dude. Find me something to drink. I need a big gulp. I need a Slurpee. Please. Yeah, I would never forget that.
When I
It was
land at that
brutal.
airport, the first stop we make is In-N-Out Burger. Because I don't go to California too much, and that's one that's not in California.
Yep.
I'm waiting now for all the oohs and no's. This is going to happen right now, but I've never been to an In-N-Out Burger.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
You've been to the West Coast a bunch of times though.
We didn't see one when we were out. We just haven't had the opportunity to. I've been to the West Coast a couple times. Haven't ran by one. You know, I mean, I didn't make a Mecca trip to go find one. You know, had I driven by one even after I had dinner,
Yeah.
I may have stopped and got
Yeah.
a burger anyway.
Yeah. That's how when you're leaving that airport, there's one right there before
Which
you get to the
airport?
strip.
Vegas?
In Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, well.
There's one right there, so I got
Usually
it
when I'm leaving
a few
Vegas, I'm
times
in the
now.
fetal position, waiting to get home. You know, trying to lick my wounds.
Because it's that bad of a flight for you?
No, from losing money.
Oh, when
Losing
you're
money.
leaving.
Yeah, when I'm leaving.
No, I don't go when I'm leaving. I go when I land.
Okay.
When I land.
No, actually, I got good over the years. I made like a rule not to gamble till the last day or two.
Okay.
Because if you lose big money your first day, you ruined your whole trip.
Right.
Like your whole trip's a downer. Because like, all you can think about is all the money I just lost, and then you're like, I'm gonna try to win it back, and then it just gets worse, right? So now, like, I learned to refrain till the last day or two. So
I guess you are a gambler, though. See, I'm not really a big gambler.
No.
I'll gamble for an hour, and then I'm bored.
I'm a gamer more than I'm a gambler, right? I'll now that there's like poker's become real popular, I can sit on a poker table for hours because you can't if you're a halfway decent player,
Yeah.
you can't lose thousands at a poker table unless you're like at a $500
Right.
cash game,
And
right?
it's the atmosphere,
And it's
the social
enjoyable.
aspect.
But no, I mean, I haven't even seen the new Hard Rock they built down here. You know, I just did recently because we saw Billy Joel, but that was like my first time.
The guitar.
I don't drive out of my way to say, hey, let me go gamble at a casino.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of a casino guy. But I like competition, so if you put me in a room where I could win and lose something, I'm going to
You
want to
get
play.
into it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm going to want to play. So, you know, it's only so much you could walk by a table and say, all right, let me not try this, you know. So, it's ruined a lot of trips. Gambling early has ruined a lot of trips.
I bet there's a bunch of manufacturers that'll say the same thing.
Oh, Eric Espinosa.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, bro, you want to make a corporation? You want to make a corp? I can't tell you how many corporations, but I have to admit, in all the corporations I've done with Eric Espinosa, I really believe he's made me way more money than we've lost.
Really?
Yes. I remember one night, it was one of these trips. I was down, I don't know going to say the dollar amount, but it was significant enough to make me a little bit sad,
Yeah.
you know? And he goes, oh, bro, you up or down? I said, no, dude, I'm down. I had a bad day today, man. It ruined my whole trip. He goes, come on, let's go make a corporation. I don't know. He goes, no, I'll give you the money. I said, no, fuck that. I'll give you the money. So, I think I only gave him $500, maybe $1,000. That's it.
And you were up after the trip?
When we cashed out from that sitting, I think, and just so you know, the final hand that we lost, and this was all in a matter of 20 minutes. The final hand in which we lost, and then we took our chips and cashed out, I think there was like $6,000 on that final bet. Yeah, so I think we ended up cashing out for about 8 or 10 grand.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we walked out.
Yeah, hell yeah, you did.
Yeah.
At least you know to walk out.
Yeah, the key is just never make sure that Marvin Samuel's in your corporation.
No, never.
Why is
Kiss
that?
of death.
Yes.
Is he really?
Oh,
He's
kiss
got
of
a
death.
black cloud?
Oh, kiss of death.
Yes.
You put him in your corporation, you're losing all your money. And I love him. He knows it. I mean, you know.
He would admit
Marvin
to
could
it.
write a book. All the things that you think could never happen has
Well-
happened to me.
Well,
No,
let's have him
well,
on.
that's why he's making a movie.
Well, the movie's not about that, but I'm sure there will be snippets about it. But Yeah, I mean, he's. I mean, we have tons of stories. So, yeah, we'll try to get him on. He's a little busy now, but we'll definitely try to get him on.
Yeah.
He's been on 2 or 3 times.
I have to listen to
Oh,
those
yeah,
episodes.
great stories.
In live?
Eric could tell you like a whole book of stories of just Marvin Samuel related stories.
Oh, yeah.
From getting locked in a New York delicatessen while taking a dump. Came out of the bathroom pitch black, couldn't get out. People were outside the street looking in the window. He's like, "Help me! Help me!" Oh yeah. They couldn't get a hold of the landlord. It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
It's stuff that you just can't imagine.
Was this before cell phones?
No.
Yeah, oh.
No, he couldn't. His cell phone was dead. And it was so dark he couldn't find an outlet. I don't even think he had a charger, you know? No, it's a great story.
It was a burner phone.
At least there's At least there's plenty to eat.
He was running some kind of marathon or something and then had to take a dump, so he finds like a little area to go take a dump and then wipes his butt with poison ivy.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
That's stuff you read about.
There's a time he almost
That's
killed
why I don't
Aaron
run.
Jr. at Abe's house.
Oh, yeah, almost blew up the whole
I've
grill.
heard about that with the barbecue.
You know my stack of signed dollar bills?
Yeah.
I'd say there's half a dozen of Marvin's in there.
Really?
At least 6.
Yeah.
I gotta go through them. He was one of the very first ones. Sal Fontana, I think, was the first one, God rest his soul. But Marvin was right up there.
You know, if you'd like, I'll make a spreadsheet for you.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Spreadsheet of,
That's
you know
actually
what?
a great idea.
That's actually not that bad.
Because then we can see, like, percentage-wise.
But we may not recognize some of them because it wasn't until later on when I realized, like, I would go back years later and look, God, I don't know whose signature this is.
Oh.
Right? So now when you sign it, if I can't read it, I will write on the other side, Paul DeCrocco.
Oh,
the date.
really? Damn it.
Because, yeah, I early on, like, I didn't do that. I'm like, whose signature is this? So, yeah. That would be a good experiment. We'll have to do that one day.
Let's try that. Yeah.
So,
Briggs just called and said, please don't make a spreadsheet.
how many do you think Briggs has in there? 5?
Yeah, 4 or 5. I think Lady M holds the record.
I could see that because
I
she was
think
always
Emily holds the record.
very foolishly
Wait.
confident.
Very foolishly confident.
Yeah.
More than Marvin.
Yeah, Marvin, you gotta remember, I
Well,
spent a lot more
if
time
Mar-
around Emily. than Marvin.
She's got more than 6?
Oh, Emily could be over 10. Double
Really?
digits. Yeah. Lady M could be double digits.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now I have my current biggest bet with Ronnie Haysha. $100 bet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 10 to 1.
Can you say
No,
what it
Because
is?
then it'll ruin it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Doesn't involve anyone in this room.
No, relax.
Okay.
Little
Well, I don't know.
Sneaky Pete.
I'm afraid. I'll get it out of you.
Little Sneaky Pete.
I'll get it out of you.
Oh, and I have 2 $100 bets in the making. The one it's over the course of 24 months, so we got 20 months left.
Oh.
But I gave them 10 to 1. When they bet 100, like I'll give you 10 to 1. That's how confident I am.
Wow.
So I'll pay you $1,000, you give me $100.
Yeah, I get. Wow. All right.
We'll see.
It's not with Adam, right? Because
No.
he's going to be asking for a loan.
No,
at
one's
some
with
point.
Italo and one's with Ronnie Haysha.
Idolo? Has he ever won?
Italo has won a couple from me.
Okay.
But
I have a bet going
the
with him,
ones
too.
that I lost with Italo were, oh, how could you not know that? Everybody no. And then I would ask somebody who works with me, hey, do you know what this means, right? And they're like, no. I'm like, God. Those are pretty much the times where I lose bets the most. I have an overconfidence of the intellectual
Capacity.
Yeah, of some of my staff sometimes.
Yeah, there's still a $1.
What was the most famous one that nobody knew what FUBAR meant? My
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
No,
you
it
asked
was
me when I
Eric.
came out of the meeting.
I lost like 2 bills or 3 bills in a row to Eric Espinosa because no one knew what FUBAR meant.
I knew what it stood for, but I didn't know what the acronym was.
And then you knew what it meant. You
yeah,
didn't know the exact
yeah, I knew what it
acronym.
meant. Yeah.
And then there was one recently which I lost that nobody knew what it meant. We were asking everybody in the shop. You lost too. I really thought you'd know it.
Yeah. Oh, what was that?
Yeah.
It was the other day.
He's usually my go-to guy. When I go to him
Oh.
and he doesn't know it, I'm screwed.
You called me on the phone and was it the quote you asked me about the movie about the breakdancing movie?
Oh yeah, nobody knew what Electric Boogaloo came from.
I have no clue.
Electric Boogaloo? No reference?
Billy Graham, I don't know.
Electric
Slide?
Boogaloo. Colin?
Was that an 80s?
Did they have multiple movies?
Yeah, but that was a sequel of what movie? Electric.
Dirty Dancing?
Well, close. It was a dancing movie.
I figured. Footloose.
Breaking 2, the Breaking movie, like the first
Oh.
breakdancing movie that came out was like huge.
It's called Breaking.
It was called Breaking.
Never
and then
heard
they
of
made
it.
Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. This was an actual name of a movie. Electric Boogaloo.
I found a clip of it online. It is as insane as you think it is. It is absolutely like
Late 80s?
what?
Yeah, it's got to be in the 80s.
Well, that's for the breakdancing.
But the breaking movie was so big they made a sequel, but they called it Electric Boogaloo. I mean, come on, man, that was a major motion picture.
Like the crazy thing about it is, like, I found this clip and it's them breakdance fighting, and obviously many times
they had breakdance competitions. That was the thing.
Listen, people know this. Just so you know, Drew Kelly, Juan Cancel, they named it as it's going
Juan's
live
old
now.
as dirt, so yeah. You know.
Did they have the Brazilian dancing fighting? Like,
No, it's literally like just breakdancing.
It's breakdance fighting, and like this is like where they created the breakdance fighting thing, and that's like continued on in random pop culture, and like you can see it
This
all the
is
time.
when I
Like,
feel real
no,
old
they're
when I come up with
breakdance
these
fighting.
references that no one that
I mean, I
works
was
for me
born in
knows.
the 80s, but thank God I didn't live through them. Like I wasn't an adult in them.
I lived through the
It's a
70s
strange era.
and 80s. Yeah.
The 70s sounds fun. No?
I was the 80s.
You,
The
you like
pictures
the
of me
80s?
in the 70s were fun.
How old are you?
50.
You know
Two.
what? I do that too. How old are you? 40.
You know,
Seven.
I don't do it because I'm hiding my age. My wife actually, she'll age herself.
You look like Paul DeGracco's picture of the week.
Why do you say that?
Because I'm looking at him.
Because he's wearing glasses?
No, because you didn't have a lot of
That
hair back
strong
then.
chin he's
Have
got?
you seen it? Look.
Yeah.
It's maybe the glasses.
Oh, boy.
That's Paul.
When Mickey goes, oh boy, you know it's like close. You
Yes.
remind me of that photo.
What the hell happened?
I just realized
What the
it.
hell happened?
You swanned.
Yeah.
When I saw that come across my stream for photo of the week, I'm like, home. At first, I didn't know it was you. I'm like, why are they picking on this poor little kid? Honest to God.
You can't tell that's me?
Listen, not instantaneously.
Well,
I've
wow.
never
There's
seen,
a lot more hair on your head
but,
there.
and I've never seen you without a hat. So without a hat, like, you don't look right.
Yeah.
So
This sounds sad,
like-
but
like
I thought it was
we-
Shriner related.
Right?
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, like, we had a meeting with Mayor Giuliani last week, and Paul like took off his hat in the middle of the meeting, and I kept saying to myself, "Put it back on."
No, I was
Put
told
it back
to.
on, dude.
I was told to.
By who?
Your guys that were taking candid photos of
Oh.
us meeting said,
I'm like,
we're
put
taking shots from
I'm
behind
like,
you. Please
put
put
it
your
back
hat
on.
back on.
Put it back on, dude.
I think my head was reflecting the light.
But when I looked at this thing, I'm like, dude, why are they picking on this little kid? And then I realized, like, oh my God, that's Paul. So if you haven't seen this week's caption this on the KMA Facebook page, go look at it.
Hold
man.
on, I'll hold it up next to my
It's
head here.
hilarious.
I mean, I thought I was a cute kid.
Really?
This is the kid who got sand kicked out of
Yeah,
him.
did you get picked on?
No, I really didn't. I swear to you. Like,
Were you
I didn't-
homeschooled?
No.
Oh my God. Let me tell you something. If it was an option back then, oh my God.
I'll be honest. I was kind of. It sounds weird, but I was pretty popular in school. I'm sure there's people listening that I went to high school with, because I've been talking to a lot of guys recently. Because one of our former teachers just passed away.
Oh,
So
sorry.
yeah, so we've all been talking. So I'm sure some people are listening. You can back me up, guys. Like I wasn't. I never had a problem with bullying or anything like that. Maybe it's the generation. I don't know. There wasn't really bullying when I was growing up. All this
That's not
bullying
really?
stuff.
Oh, wow.
I
I was
didn't-
bullied.
I mean, listen.
I didn't encounter any of that.
I mean, look. If I look back on it in retrospect, yeah, there was definite bullying. But I just didn't think anybody acknowledged it as bullying.
maybe.
Everybody back then, it was kind of like kids are gonna be kids.
Just busting
you know?
Boys are being boys.
Yeah, boys
Yeah.
are being boys. I mean, look. I mean, believe it or not, I got pretty bullied my first year in
High school.
No, definitely not high school. I was
'Cause
too-
you were
I-
bigger
I-
than
I-
everybody.
Yeah, I was too big by the time I got to high school. But when we were in where we grew up, you know, middle school was 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, so it's 4 years. So
Right.
when I was in 4th grade, and I guess all the 5th graders heard about this ginormous kid that was coming called Abe,
Yep.
right? So like, all the 6th graders, all they wanted to do was like beat me up.
Because you were this.
Everybody wants to climb Mount Everest.
That's what it was.
I lived the same thing.
Yeah,
out.
they all heard about this big kid named Abe.
Right.
Right? And I was the gentlest kid, dude. I don't think I'd ever been in a fight at this point in my life. And they all wanted to beat me up, and that's all they wanted to do. And I couldn't fathom it. I couldn't understand. What is everybody's beef here? I mean, I
Right.
just don't get it. And there was this one kid, and it's funny because if anybody's listening, they're going to laugh. But there was one kid named Kevin Parthay. Parthay was his name. His brother was like a certified like Golden Glove boxer, right?
Oh God.
Yeah, like literally, right? So he was like the tough kid. He was like the head of the 6th grade group or whatever whatever you call it back then. And so somehow I got concocted into a fight at a park after school with this guy, right? Never been in a fight. Don't know how to fight. I was like a baby Huey growing up. I didn't know my size and my own strength because my body grew faster than my mind, right? So,
and my dexterity for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a child in my brain. I got the body of a grown man almost at, like, 5th grade. So, I'll never forget.
You and Mickey are bonding right now.
Well, it's funny because this is when I started learning about life lessons early, right?
This is the same conversation we had 20 years ago.
We probably did. But this is when I started to see a lot of his friends, the 6th grade friends, who would come up to me and wish me kick his ass. I always kick his ass. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Right? Because no one liked this guy. Right? I mean, it was like, I didn't get it. I didn't know. I'm like, are you serious? Yeah, dude, can't stand it. Beat the shit out of him. What? So this fight starts. And before I know what happens, like, I get punched 5 times in the face. Like, literally, like ninja shit. I mean, like, where did his fist come from, right? I have no idea what I'm doing, so I just do what I do. I just charge him like a football player, tackle him to the ground, and I put him in a headlock so tight that I'm holding for dear life.
Right.
It's luckily I didn't crack this kid's neck out of pure fear, right? And he's like,
Lenny
let me go.
from Of Mice and
He's
Men.
like, let me go, and I wouldn't let him go because I didn't want him to get up and beat the shit out of me, right?
I'll hug him and I'll love him and I'll call him mine.
It's literally, I felt like Lenny of Mice and Men, right? I'm going to snap this poor kid's neck. And then finally I got him to agree the fight was done because I was scared to let him up and continue fighting. And then no one ever messed with me again. That was like the end of it.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's brilliant.
That was the end of it. But I don't know. I mean, was that bullying? Is that not bullying? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure kids made fun of me, but it wasn't to my face. And I had a lot of friends.
Maybe we just weren't that sensitive back then because we were taught sticks and stones.
It might be.
I mean, I didn't really care when people said crap as much. You know, like today, God, you say something wrong to a kid, it's like a whole, social media, extravaganza.
We're gonna have a meeting about that.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Like somebody would say something like 4 eyes, and I'd be like, okay, cool. You got that?
Exactly.
Yes, I have glasses. Thank you
Yeah,
for
good
acknowledging my glasses.
Thanks for pointing that out.
You are very observant. We appreciate what you have said.
Right. I just think everybody's way more sensitive today. Just can't take it.
I mean, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
But,
Well, let's hit the meat you're making, man.
All right.
That's enough.
Yeah.
I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell.
It's time to meet your maker.
This week, KMA Talk Radio is pleased to welcome Micky Pegg of Allsaints Cigars as a former VP of Sales for CAO Cigars. Micky was at the top of the cigar industry. After CAO was sold, he was out. But now he's back with the world premiere of Allsaints Cigars. Welcome, Micky, to KMA Talk Radio.
Thanks for having me.
I like Adam when he reads it off the sheet. He holds it right in front of the camera.
well, you do that too, actually, when you read the Cigar
Sales
Asylum.
Asylum?
Yeah, you always hold it like right in your face.
Well,
and
I'm legally blind.
Well, I know. We've talked about it. We're in the same boat.
But those scripts you got to read closely because they're pretty funny. I got to admit, the Asylum scripts.
Oh, yeah.
They're hilarious.
I try not to read them before so I could actually be entertained like everybody else.
Right.
Because we have meetings on Thursday night, so I try to be in the line, but then sometimes they're just so dumb. Like, no, dude, we're not using this one.
Yeah, that does happen sometimes.
Get rid of it. It's
Happens
terrible.
a lot.
So Micky Pegg, man, literally like out of the womb, right into the cigar industry.
Yeah. I got to tell you, it's great to be back. And it was, I don't know if anybody knows the story, but
Get nice and close on that mic.
Yeah, don't worry about looking at us. Talk more on the mic. There you
I
go.
feel like a porn star.
It's all right.
On the wrong time. Hey, here we go.
Hey, they make more money.
They got bigger
They
cigars
get paid
too.
better. They get paid better.
Yeah, so it was, I went to Catholic University in Washington, D.C.
Don't look at us. Talk at the mic.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. You sound way better.
And
He's too good a salesman.
well, actually, last night, too, I was fortunate to see my old football coach.
Really?
Yeah, so he retired down here, and his son, who was graduated a couple years ahead of me, actually recruited me I went to Valley Forge Military Academy. Before that, I went to a lot of schools. I went to Father Lopez up in Daytona Beach, and then migrated north, went to Valley Forge Military Academy.
Don't look at him. Don't look at him. Yeah, there you go.
I'm not here.
He keeps wanting to look at Adam and moves away from the mic.
Believe me, he's got a full head of hair.
Don't look at
I'm a
him.
little jealous. I gotta admit, I'm a little jelly here.
Don't look at him.
Amazingly, I'm the only one with a full head of hair in here.
So, I did decent in grades, and I was a big guy.
Yeah.
And They're like, all right, let's go. Send them to Valley Forge Military Academy, and they were trying to be the next Fork Union. They did. They put some NFL guys out there. And my grades were pretty good, so they were like, all right, yeah. Maybe D1. And I was a long snapper, too, you know. So,
oh, wow.
So that helped.
That is harder than it looks, man.
Yeah.
Snapping?
Yeah.
Long snapping. I tried it. It's harder than it looks.
Well, it's a lot harder now for me because, you know, my chest is now my belly, but...
You can't clear your gut anymore?
No, right? I can't see it. And that's with no helmet. It really does. You know, you lose weight, it really does improve the, you know, the thingamajiggy. So, you know, it was this whole thing, and they're like, you're going to go either Division I or take some AP classes because it was postgraduate, and or I'll go Ivy. So, like, Cornell's looking at me, Mississippi, all these guys were looking at me. All of a sudden, everybody went dark, you know, so everything was on a payphone back then. So so I got out of Valley Forge in '87, and Catholic University started recruiting me, and I went down for a visit, and it was the Super Bowl and the Giants won. So that would be
Phil Simms.
Yeah.
So that was
Phil
like
Simms.
the
Number 11.
'87. And what happened was we had to take a train down from Philadelphia down there, and ironically, my best friend at the time was Alberto Diaz de Cedas from Panama. His dad was a cereal dealer, like cereals, like grains and stuff like that.
Yeah. Right.
And his sister was roommates with Noriega's sister.
Mm.
And that's where that was our home base. They went to GW at the time. So we go down there, snowstorm hits. We're down there till Wednesday, and I beat the drinking clause because it was under 18. I made the grandfather clause.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I don't have to go back to
They
because I got a study hall at 7 o'clock.
They grandfathered people in?
It was the District of Columbia was one of the last places of the 50 states. You know, you were talking about.
But it wasn't like an instantaneous law. You were
You
grandfathered?
were grandfathered, and they grandfathered
Oh,
you.
my God.
And it was, and a lot of the states did that. I remember, you know, Florida actually did it.
Really?
Because I remember when I was, you know, one of my jobs was I was a bag boy at Publix up in on Dunlawton. Hi, Mr. Sheriff. And so, you know, we get up there, and it was a fantastic time. I'll leave it at that. I'm 20 years happily married, but
But during this time while you're at school, you start working in a cigar shop.
yeah. So what happened was I go to Catholic University. I end up there. So you know, all that money and time spent on a postgraduate degree, I end up I settled for a Division III school in Washington D.C. What was the best thing that ever happened to me? In about my junior year, I am working on Capitol Hill. I'm actually working for Senator Harkin at that time.
You were an intern, or you were actually?
Yeah, I was an intern.
Okay.
Back then, you could intern and they didn't have to pay you, but you didn't care because your resume, your resume was
great.
amazing.
And you wanted to get into politics, right?
Yeah, well, that was, you know, I got a taste of it, and you know, with your resume, you're 90 miles outside of that D.C.
Yeah.
Your resume looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What they didn't know is I was chief assistant to the assistant photocopier, and they had facsimile machines. They didn't even call them. That's how old they were. Still called facsimile machines. So you have to go there and you had to.
Are you trying to say facsimile?
Facsimile?
I can't
Yeah,
say it
well-
now. Facsimile.
I don't even know what they were. I know fax,
Yeah.
and we don't have one at my office
That's what it's
anymore.
called, a
Right,
facsimile machine.
It's called an iPhone now.
Yeah,
yeah.
right?
So what happened is the senator, Jake Kitewater, I think it was his staff assistant at the time. If you did a good job, he would give you a pile of cash, kind of like the cash that Babe's always flashing around with all the signatures.
Yeah, those are singles, bro.
Yeah. And we'd go down, and you'd have to go get the cigars and go down Georgetown Tobacco, get the cigars, bring them back, and you got to keep the change from the taxis and the cigars. And if the timing was right, somebody didn't show up to have that cigar. They were Juan Clementes. You ever remember Juan Clementes?
Yeah, of course.
That was like the big premium
That
cigar
was
at
an
the time.
early Altadis brand, wasn't it?
You know, it was actually by a guy named Jean Clement, who was French, and he changed it to Juan Clemente, whatever the case is. And we take those back, and it was just before Davidoff kind of got its legs, and they did their big kickoff. And my job was go back and he'd sit in there, and he would be on the phone with the president or Secretary Schultz or whatever. I think NAFTA was going on at that time. And you're sitting there smoking a cigar, and I'm going, this is amazing. So
Now, I just want, this is Dave Berkebiel's
right
stores. So Dave Berkebiel's, is he still in the business?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was invoiced 001.
God, he was old when I got in the business.
Yeah, he's 80.
Yeah.
Still
Dave has been around forever.
Yeah, you said you knew the story.
I've
when I
known him for
mentioned
many
it to you.
years. I mean, he was
It was a top 10
president of IPCPR at one point.
Oh, wow.
Oh no, Dave is
RTDA.
like one of those guys who's been in the industry forever. Like when I was a newbie and nobody, Dave was like one of the forefathers of the IPC, trade show.
Yeah.
And I'm
Him and
just
Newborn.
curious, is that where you got the influence for the bow tie? Because he's a bow tie guy.
No, the bow tie, that's a different story.
Okay.
What happened was...
Because you were known for that. As long as
Right,
I knew you
and
when you were
I
in the
still
industry.
get it. Actually, even when I changed industries, I still wore it, and it drove my manager crazy. I'm like, take it off me. David finally offered me a job. So it was 30 years ago in November, my junior year of college, and I worked part-time at Georgetown Tobacco. And back then, you couldn't find information. So the only people that would tell you anything...
Is a tobacconist?
was tobacconists, yeah. It was the wholesalers. The wholesaling was started.
Right.
Broker and direct. I think Ashton was one of the first to go direct. Davidoff was going from broker to direct. And Davidoff, guy Kevin, would tell me was in it. John Turpak, remember him? He was...
No.
He's still... I think he's out in Moore Park now, but he was an Ashton rep, and they would tell me everything that was in it, so you could have that really good conversation.
You know who was my first Ashton rep?
Who?
Mike Giannini.
Look at him now.
He was my first Ashton rep.
I remember him. He was... he's actually one of him and Manny and all those guys were...
God rest his soul.
Yeah. I love that guy. He did a lot for me. And so that was it. So that, I was talking, and then I started, you know what, you're going to sell what you know. So so Davidoff.
Having the knowledge.
And Davidoff at that time, everything was white label. I had a Davidoff. I love it.
Because it was the only thing that sold back then.
Well, at a premium price.
Zeno was big, and then
Right.
when I was getting in the business, that was the beginning. When I just started getting, it was the beginning of the demise of the Zeno brand.
Yeah, as soon as that DR stuff came in, the white label, and they offered me a job. And I was trying to work on the hill. It really wasn't working out. And I fell in love with my wife, Kimmy, and it was around, 95, 96. I get in, Al Remp, the craziest guy.
Al Remp, oh my God.
He used to use a legal pad, and we used to call it the Al Remp laptop.
Wait a second.
And he would write in the corners.
Al Remp was, I know the name. Is it Davidoff?
Yeah, it was Davidoff. It was before Jeff Lee.
Okay, that's right.
He was Jeff Lee's predecessor.
I remember Al Remp now.
Yeah, he was over
Holy
the camp.
cow, that's a name that I haven't heard
Oh
in
my
20
God.
years.
And to have an old school boss like that, I mean, he used to beat the hell out of me. Like, why don't you have quarters in here? We got a cell phone. he goes, yeah, but you got to have it. When he pulled off the rest stop, they had the really long lines. You get in there and I always used a cell phone, and he would make me use these quarters. So I always had like quarters. And I'm like, last time I had a roll of quarters, I was getting in a fight, right? So, I went to Davidoff, and I had the Mid-Atlantic. And then what happened was Tom Baker left the Carolinas.
Tom Baker was my first Davidoff
Right.
rep.
And that's why I got to know you in your beginning and Jeff Borshowitz in the beginning. Matter of fact, I think I did one of Jeff's first deals. We did a cutter, and I did it out of the trunk. And I'm like, if I'm not stealing, I'm for the company.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how I got to know so I got some exposure that way. And then they were like, hey, let's send Mickey down to the DR all the time. So I always, got my customers. I made all the trips. Or they needed help on the West Coast.
Great
stuff.
trips, too. Always.
Yeah.
Davidoff trips are always really epic trips.
For a local wholesaler, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I got to see all these places, and I traveled to the stores anyways when I was at Georgetown Tobacco, just because that was a sport for me, just like it is a lot for people today. Just you can see it a lot easier with the social media.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know this about you until I actually read it on our sheets here.
That I have 2 high school diplomas.
No, I didn't know that either.
No, I didn't find that.
You worked with Philippe Gregorio?
Yeah, had a little year stint. So
Yeah, because, when I was coming in, he was, there's been a handful of hero to zeros,
right.
over the years. Tony Berhani, were
Right.
just blown up out of the water and then managed to screw it off. Philippe really never screwed it up. The brand just died and faded away. But when I was getting in, that was like that, and I think Padron Anniversarios had just been released, were like 2 of the hottest cigars out there.
Right.
And how did you go from Davidoff to Philippe, or was Philippe pre-Davidoff?
No, it was after Davidoff. What happened was, I saw the ceiling
At Davidoff.
at Davidoff, and I loved everybody around me.
Right.
I mean, it was one of the best experiences. I cut my teeth. I learned a lot from Raymond Schur down in the factories.
That was pre-Peter Benninger, right?
Yeah, that was Christoph Kohl was the president at the
Okay.
time. They got him from Swiss Air. And I love Kohl and I love Benninger. They're all great guys, and I still
Peter Benninger.
yeah.
Oh God, those speeches during the dinners were like brutal. You'd want to hold a gun to your head, like stop.
Well,
please.
I'm half German, so I was having flashbacks.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I did 23andMe, and obviously I'm not German anymore. I'm like
I
Scandinavian.
mean, super nice guy, but he would get up and then talk like for like 20 minutes and be like, "At Davidoff, we strive for a level of excellence," and it's like, oh
Go spend
my
a week in
God.
Switzerland.
Oh gosh.
I was like to see the Alps. I was ready to bury myself.
So you leave, so the seal, you make, and now was this
Now,
during his
full-
boom?
Yes.
'Cause, I mean, this was a great move.
Yeah,
Up and coming guy. I mean, looked like he was going to take the industry by storm at the time.
Yeah, I was never really a big fan of the word boom, only because it kind of just kept going. It had that perennial kind of crawl, that move up, but I guess we affectionately call it the boom. But Philippe was based in Alexandria, and my territory was the Mid-Atlantic, so out of D.C. So I would see him often, and I guess he felt that I had a little bit of an itch, and the brand needed a burst of energy. And we had a couple other concepts that we were working on. He was just coming off. He did some big stuff with Dave Garofalo up in New Hampshire, and had great exposure. And as you know, that you got to get the brand in, you got to get it out the door, then you got to get it out the door again in order to have success. So that's what I was trying to do, and I think the model of it was I spent too much time, and it was a great learning lesson, going all over the place instead of concentrating like in a segment and kind of building out. So it just wasn't the right fit, and we both gently moved aside. And then talking to Tim, I met Tim at events, and Tim Oskiner brought me into CAO like within a month after that. I was even contemplating, like, what am I going to do? I don't want to leave this industry. Like, Holt said I could come over there and work part-time.
Philippe's not still in the industry, is he?
Philip Wynn? No, I haven't.
I know a lot of these guys existed for a long time past, like, their death, right? I mean, as far as the brands were concerned. But is there still a Philippe Gregorio brand out there?
I've seen it pop up.
Somebody had to have bought it.
Yeah, I don't know who owns it at this point. I see it pop up every now and then when I'm looking at the catalogs and all the emails, but I haven't seen it.
So
I saw it pop up about a week ago.
No,
but it was on one of the big houses.
Probably
So
one
it
of the big
could
house
have been-
bought the brand. That's what they do. They'll acquire a brand like that, pick up the name, and then go have the cigars
I'm
made
sure
somewhere.
somebody on here will get it.
Right, somebody will chime in.
Yeah, we'll
later.
take a look.
AJ Smokes might catch it on the
Paul,
on the
go
chat.
go find Philippe and get him on the show for next week.
Oh, I'd love to get Philippe on the show.
Huh.
He's got an interesting background. He would be
Could
great
you
on
could
the
you
show.
put us in touch with him?
Somebody could find him. I could find him. I can find him.
Okay.
They never go away.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Look at Micky Pegg. He's sitting in her office.
Yeah.
They never go away.
Well, we're gonna get to why Micky
you're-
Pegg's sitting here.
Yeah, you're one of the few guys that, like, I talk about, because very few people ever get out. Like, Timmy's gotten out and like he's gone, like the wind. I mean, you don't see him, don't hear him.
We
Well,
talked
I
to him.
didn't want to leave. That was
I know, but you're just one of the guys, like, you had gotten out and didn't come back right away, right? So, like, when they usually don't come
I
back
was
right away.
shocked.
Well, we're
I
gonna.
should have been shocked. I was an idiot, but
Well, so we're gonna get to this point of the shock now. Where I don't even know where we're at of time.
Well, we
got
should
time.
probably.
No,
Oh, go
we
ahead.
got
Up to
time.
you.
I was going to go for another 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Take
we got time. So,
an hour, yeah.
so you meet the Ozzingers, who, great family. All my
Right.
experiences, I ever dealt with them. Chano and Timmy Chano, another guy, God rest his soul. We're getting old
Yeah.
now. Everybody we knows. Moving on, but
Right.
Great family. And how long were you with CAO at the time?
I think it was my 6th year, going into the 7th, and I was commuting in from Philadelphia for about a year, and then they asked me to move the family there, and that's what I did. They picked up,
to Nashville.
yeah,
Oh,
to
they were
Nashville.
in Nashville. Okay.
Yeah, to Nashville. Yeah,
How was that transition? Philly to Nashville.
For me, I've always been kind of a traveler and a vagabond, so it was fine. But for my wife, it was a little bit of a shock. She was like, "Hey, banks aren't open on a Sunday. What's going on?"
It's a big difference. I mean, especially then.
Yeah, well, it was much smaller. So I think at the time when I left to come back east, it was like 1.2 million by the year delay census, including the suburbs. Now I think it's around 2 or 3 million.
Yeah, it's a much bigger city.
Yeah,
Massive.
it was great. I didn't really see a lot of it, but when I did, I guess I had a good time. Because my commute to work has always been the airport. So that's I knew how to get to the airport quickly.
Well,
So
there's a family who really learned how to pivot, right? Because most people don't know that Chano really was a pipe guy.
Right.
They were heavy into pipes. They were like one of the pipe companies.
Mearsheims, yeah.
Yeah, that sold pipes and a lot of pipes. And they had this little premium cigar they got into called CAO Gold, which was a light Connecticut cigar. It wasn't until I think the Aniversario line that came out that was at that time made at the Donald Douglas factory in Costa Rica.
Correct.
That they really blew up. And as far as
that's what
the premium
that's
cigar
right.
presence, right?
Right, when they were just coming out of Douglas, that's when I came in.
Now, I still say till today, and I get debates about this, that, in my opinion, could be one of the best Maduros I could remember smoking.
Oh, yeah.
This original CAO Aniversario that was coming out of the Donald Douglas factory at the time, where at that time, Tony Bahrani was making his cigars, which blew up as well, Bahia.
And he threw a fit.
Well, that
hey,
was...
Papa, hey, Papa.
Yeah, what had happened is, a lot of listeners don't know all the depths of the history, right? They're not as old as we are. So, CAO was having this cigar made at this factory, one of the few factories in Costa Rica, which was owned by a guy named Donald Douglas, and they were making CAO.
The Cheese Baron.
Yeah, Cheese Baron. And the CAO Aniversario Maduro was, I think, the official Super Bowl cigar that year or something. I remember those being stamped on the box.
We did 2 Super Bowls. One that was directly that Tim did, and then we did one years later with the Palms. That's when I won all that money.
Yes. So I remember that being stamped on the box, and then
it was down in Miami. It was a Miami Super Bowl, wasn't it?
I don't know. My memory ain't that good.
You'd have to give me a year.
But
Timmy always has some great stories, and I think I heard some stories of that.
We've had him on. We have a segment called "Where Are They Now?" So he's come on once or twice.
He's doing fantastic out there.
He seems happy as hell, so that's the most important.
Well, he grew up in a very culturally strong family. With Jono and Essen, and for him to be able to carry on his dad's legacy with that.
He's doing good. He's just doing good stuff. But so then what happened was Bahrani, this guy named Tony Bahrani, who some people out there going, who? Had this brand called Bahia, and then Bahia Gold, and Gold took off. It was like one of those hero things overnight. And I think he ended up buying into the Donald Douglas factory, or I don't know if his just production was so high that he had enough leverage, but obviously there was some issues because he didn't want the CAO line to be made out of that factory.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
And we got Das Boot.
You got booted out like I can remember literally right before trade show.
Right.
I remember seeing Chano going to manufacturer,
and we went to
hustling, trying to figure out who's going to continue to make this line for us.
Right.
And he ended up, he ended up working with Nick Perdomo.
Yeah.
And then the Cameroon came out, and both of those cigars were like major premium cigar staples everywhere. Mm-hmm. The CAO Aniversario, Cameroon, and Maduro's were one of our hottest selling brands for years.
I've never had a CAO cigar. Is that crazy? I've never had a CAO.
Well, because you came post.
I guess I was later.
You came post. Yeah.
You came post era.
There's still some out there
after it got taken over by General. But those brands eventually over time slowed down. But they kept pivoting. Right, they went into regionals with Brasilia. And
I remember reading
the American passport. It was like a passport kind of concept.
Yes.
But Timmy would call it World Cup because right when that piece came together. The World Cup was going on when we had the umpteenth, we had Italia, and those tobaccos were fantastic to work with. They were now, would that be sustainable without today? Ricky's doing a great job, but it's those tobaccos are expensive now. So the Colombia, the Montefina, the Italian.
Well, prices are expensive of cigars now. I mean, it's all relative. It's all going up.
Right.
But they were very good at pivoting, right? And keep reinventing. I mean, I remember one of my favorite campaigns they had was, when Aficionado was Cuban Schmoobin.
That was their big marketing break.
It was a brilliant ad.
Right.
First off, Timmy finally took off a hairpiece that he had worn for years, which was terrible, right? It was a terrible.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
he was a good-looking guy.
It was a terrible hairpiece.
It was the worst-kept secret.
Yeah, it wasn't a secret.
Yeah, it was worst-kept secret.
Yeah, worst-kept secret, right. It was a terrible hairpiece they'd worn for years. So he takes off it, and he's good-looking as a bald guy.
Yeah,
Some guys can't carry it,
right?
So he looks good bald. His sister was there. He looked tough. And his dad had this innocent look like, I'm just along for the ride. It was a great ad. It was Cuban Schmoobin.
Hey.
Right? And it was they really pivoted well to develop and maintain themselves in the premium cigar industry, right?
Right.
So then, all of a sudden, out of the blue, I mean, not out of the blue to them, but to everybody else in the cigar world, they get acquired.
Yeah, so, the Cuban Schmoobin, we had moved from that campaign, and also we were doing some really kind of funny spends, and I was involved with a lot to see a lot of stuff, and, for me to say that me. It was Tim. It was John Huber, Mike Condor.
Yeah.
Two guys that I really endear to this day. Those two guys did it.
Now you're not in
tremendous
Nashville anymore.
No. I moved back to Philadelphia.
You ever run into the boys?
Ran into him. I was at the show. I was snooping around.
Okay.
Shared to get the vibe when I made the commitment to go full time. That was the big thing, and I ran into him. Great. I just saw Condor at the Army Navy game. I wasn't there. He was there with his brother. Ran into him. Had a great conversation, and when our office, that beautiful office, you've been there.
You guys flew me up there.
Yeah. So
took me one of the best Eagle concerts. One of the best concerts I've ever seen. Saw the Eagles.
That was the freaking
Oh,
best.
you've mentioned that concert,
Yes,
actually.
they took me. Yeah.
So we're
Great.
sitting there at this. Well, anyway, so I sat between those two guys. Amazing. But you got to hear this concert. So me and of course they sit me and Abe next to each other, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah. Plenty of room.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that
it was
sounds comfortable.
Like two of us trying to fight for a middle seat,
Right.
So, musical chairs. So we go to this concert, and we're there with Tim and this other guy that kind of was there, president at the time. Anyways, we go to the concert, and I like music. I really do. But I'm a big guy. We talked about being. I don't like to be around crowds.
Get
You know where the
claustrophobic.
story's going,
Yeah.
and I want to be like, not that I'm like the green room where I can go to the bathroom, I can get a drink,
Yeah.
I can do this. I want
I'd
to
rather
bust
have
it.
No, a suite is nice.
I'd rather have a worse view and be in a suite.
Yeah.
So,
that's my thinking, too, and
yeah.
I'm not that big a guy. But.
Yeah.
And I look at, and we're like into the 20th greatest hit of the Eagles, and
It was a long concert.
I was like,
It was a long
and I look at
concert.
Abe, I'm like, I gotta take a piss and get a beer. You want a beer? He goes, I thought you would never ask. So his eyes like this.
I think
he looked like a kid on
I
Christmas
think
morning.
when we got up, there was a
Yeah,
from the seats.
so the suction of the room.
Yes, it's one of those things like when I get up, the seat wants to come up with me, which happens often.
You were sitting at a concert? What are you doing?
Yeah,
You're
we
supposed
had
to be up with,
we had killer seats, and then so we got out, we go to the bathroom, we have a beer, and I said, we gotta get out of here. I go, I can't take this. Like it'd be like listening to great music 24/7. It's gonna drive you insane. It's like speaking of Noriega, what they did to Noriega with.
What I liked about that concert was it wasn't like just all music playing. They talked a lot about history, and they
Right.
had a big screen and with clips of their own homemade movies.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
it was
pretty
actually
cool.
very cool. This is before Glenn Fry died, so
Right.
everybody was there,
And that was the biggest ticket to get in the United States.
and we had great seats. You guys got us.
And that was one of the three big venues of that tour.
No, it was definitely epic, right?
Yeah.
So
you still didn't buy anything.
Now, because we're trying. You're so full of shit. But we're trying to now get to the point where you are today. So now, what happens after the acquisition?
Well,
right?
hold on.
Is this the break time now?
Yeah,
This actually works, though.
I
This
feel
is
like
a good
we're right
sign.
there. We're going to tease ahead to what happens after the acquisition of CAO with Micky Pegg. More to come right here on KMA Talk Radio. Keep it lit.
You're listening to KMA Talk Radio. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
We're on Instagram too.
Yes, it's mandatory.
Dan Blunt here for Alec Bradley Cigars. You ever plunk down hard-earned cash for a cigar? You're hoping you just bought yourself a nice drive-through taste town, only to discover you're in the slow lane with a clunker. That sucks. Say goodbye to bad rides. Test drive an Alec Bradley cigar today. At Alec Bradley, they get it. Whether we're talking about life or cigars, it's all about the ride.
Fuel your soul and experience inspiration with the Aging Room Quattro series by Rafael Nodal. More than just a master blender, but the inspired composer of 4 boutique masterpieces for the sophisticated palate of an aficionado. The Aging Room Quattro series are a perfect chord of flavor and aroma, and are born from the best tobaccos, aged under the expertise of one of the greatest names in cigar making. Truly the perfect notes for a genuine cigar smoking experience. Aging Room Quattro series, a quartet of excellence.
Hoya de Nicaragua proudly announces the release of Cuatro Cinco Reserva Especial, a carefully modified recipe containing a unique and exceptional selection of barrel-aged grade A fillers and a beautiful silky shade-grown Habano wrapper. From the legendary Jalapa Valley, produced in small quantities, this exceptional medium to full-bodied cigar will continue to captivate consumers with its rich Nicaraguan complexity, subtle woody and sweet flavors, and a velvety finish. Try a Cuatro Cinco Reserva Especial today.
CLE Cigar Company presents CLE Cigars, Aroa Cigars, and Asylum Cigars. With 4 generations and over 120 years of experience in tobacco, from seed to smoke, these cigars are produced in Honduras and Nicaragua with the utmost care and precision possible. CLE Cigar Company introduces a vast array of tobaccos in various sizes to bring the highest quality of premium tobacco direct for your enjoyment. Visit clecigars.com for more information.
Since their humble beginnings in 1998, Drew Estate has believed that the production floor is the crossroads between art and passion, and where the real magic takes place. Drew Estate Master Blender Willie Herrera has crafted a unique medium-bodied line extension that is creamy, lush, and ultra-smooth, and finished off with a flawless shade wrapper that delivers satisfaction in spades. Continuing the story from their factory floor, it is with great bravado that the Drew Estate presents Under Crown Shade, a true Drew experience.
A Toscano cigar is the perfect combination of American and Italian craftsmanship. Made with American and Italian dark-fired cured tobacco, Toscano cigars are produced by hand by the cigar rollers of Lucca, Italy. Smoking a Toscano helps you escape from the real world for those few perfect minutes, like when you're sitting at home on a terrace after a long day's work, pondering life and how beautiful things are. A Toscano cigar can take you back through over 200 years of history and elegance. There's only one Toscano. Available worldwide, Toscano is now available at your local premium cigar retailer.
The Oliva family, the makers of some of the most affordable yet highest rated premium cigars available. For 7 straight years, Cigar Aficionado has rated Oliva as one of the best cigars of the year. And Oliva has a cigar for all smokers, from the newly released Gilberto Oliva Reserva to the bold and rich Oliva Serie V. Oliva cigars can be found at a tobacconist near you, so always ask for Oliva, an unbeatable value and uncompromising quality. The Oliva family of cigars.
Ventura Cigar Company is a boutique cigar brand born in sunny Southern California. Ventura Cigar Company is on a mission to create memorable, complex cigar blends that excite the senses and reward discriminating palates. Experience the Cigar Aficionado number 13 Cigar of the Year, the Archetype Axis Mundi. Rise up, step up, look up, fire up, and leave compromise behind with Ventura Cigar Company. Check them out online at venturacigar.com.
Cigar Fairy's making rounds.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
You're listening to KMA Talk Radio. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
We're on Instagram too.
Yes, it's mandatory.
Experience the new Henry Clay Warhawk, a robust and complex cigar that's inspired by the rebellious roots of Henry Clay. The first of a 3-part series honoring the life of the great statesman, this cigar is made with the best tobaccos grown and hand-rolled by the Grupo de Maestros at La Flor de Copan in Honduras. And it's not your typical Connecticut. This is a Henry Clay. Stand up, be different, and smoke a Warhawk. Surgeon General warning, cigar smoking can cause cancer to the mouth and throat even if you do not inhale.
Hello, this is Glenn Case, owner of Christoph Cigars. There's nothing more important to me than family. That's why I treasure the moments with my wife Terry and our son Christopher, aka Christoph. When we have those rare moments to talk about life, there's nothing better than smoking Christoph to enhance our time together. For Terry, it's our Christoph Sweet Tip Cuban selection. For Chris, our Sumatra. And for me, our original Maduro. Enhance your family time with Christoph Cigars.
The Oliva family, the makers of some of the most affordable yet highest rated premium cigars available. For 7 straight years, Cigar Aficionado has rated Oliva as one of the best cigars of the year. And Oliva has a cigar for all smokers, from the newly released Gilberto Oliva Reserva to the bold and rich Oliva Serie V. Oliva cigars can be found at a tobacconist near you, so always ask for Oliva, an unbeatable value and uncompromising quality. The Oliva family of cigars.
The recently released Perdomo Double-Aged 12-Year Vintage is an extremely rare blend of Perdomo's finest and most cherished 12-year-old fillers, binders, and wrappers. Bale-aged for 10 years and then barrel-aged in bourbon barrels for an additional 2 years, these exquisite Nicaraguan tobaccos are bursting with rich, complex flavors. Offered in Connecticut, sun-grown, or Maduro, available at only 250 authorized tobacconists worldwide, the Perdomo Double-Aged 12-Year Vintage is a must-have for every cigar enthusiast.
Hey, this is Clay from La Polina Cigar Company. My likes and dislikes: long walks in the park, old-school gangster films, wrestling grizzly bears with Abe. Dislikes: smelly feet, flight attendants with an attitude, and Friday afternoon traffic. What I know you will like is the La Polina family of fine cigars, such as Mr. Sam, Bronze Label, and our highly rated Classic Series. But let's not forget the limited edition Goldie. Quality forever. La Polina Cigars.
Plasencia Cigars has been one of the world's leading growers of first-class tobacco since 1865. Today, Nestor Plasencia Sr., together with the fifth generation of the Plasencia family, continue the legacy. With over 3,000 acres of quality tobacco fields, they are makers of quality cigars, including Alma Fuerte, ranked among the top 10 cigars in major publications. Find them in your local premium tobacconist stores around the country. Plasencia Cigars, perfected for more than 150 years. Yours to enjoy now.
Welcome back. You're listening to KMA Talk Radio. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
We're on Instagram too.
Yes, it's mandatory.
Oh, welcome back to KMA Talk Radio. I am Adam K. the Brewmeister. We are here broadcasting live in lovely West Palm Beach, Florida. With me, of course, Mr. Honest Abe.
Hello.
And Paul.
Hi, buddy.
Hi.
I like getting your reactions when you're re-introing the show all the time. It's really funny.
Thanks. I'm glad you enjoy my
your facial
being
expressions.
entertaining.
They're great.
I know. That's what I do. I'm here to be.
Hey, and you put your hair back to the old way. You had a different haircut where it's parted on the side.
Every time I look at him.
No, last week it was parted to the side, and he said his hairdresser decided to do something different.
No,
but now it's back.
That was during the week.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
So now you
No. I just don't have anything in it. That's the thing. On the weekends, I don't put anything in it.
Vivacious. Wait.
Do you
Wait. Where's the rewind sound here? Thank you. Hold on. During the week, you put something in it?
Yeah.
What? I've never seen you with anything in your hair other than just basically like it being greasy during the week.
Because he puts gel in it, probably.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's some kind of a cream-based thing.
Is it a pomade?
No.
Dapper Dan? Any reference?
No.
Anybody?
Yeah. Old brother, where art thou?
Thank you very much. I'm a Dapper Dan man.
I do not have that pomade. I can have it in a couple of days.
What a geographical oddity. No, not a couple of days, 2 weeks.
Yes.
What a geographical oddity, 2 weeks from everywhere. Because everything he wants is 2 weeks out.
Right. I saw it once.
Oh,
so
dude,
long ago.
When that movie came out,
I have the soundtrack.
Okay, no,
is that weird?
No, that's a great sound. One
Yeah,
of the best
really
movie
is.
soundtracks
Yeah.
ever.
It got me into bluegrass.
Everybody got they did the bluegrass at the Oscars. They had them come out and do that music.
That's
It got
awesome.
everybody into it. But I had a pirated box at the time, so I got like all the pay-per-view, everything just came through on my satellite, right?
Is the time limit for you getting in trouble for that
Yeah,
over?
it's way
or?
past 7
Okay.
years. So it would literally stay on the pay-per-view channel for Oh Brother Where Art Thou. So like it would be on my TV all day, every day. Like I come home from work, it'd be on.
Wow.
I would work. I got to.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
I literally memorized like every line in the movie. Like I knew it by heart. That's how many times I probably watched it.
Who's in that?
George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking.
John Leguizamo.
Not
Leguizamo?
Leguizamo. No. It's the other
Yeah, I was gonna say he won't fit in.
Turturro, yeah.
Turturro, and the other guy who I like very much. He's very funny. The white guy, the little nerd guy.
Yeah.
You know, who kept saying,
He's that
we
guy.
We thought you was a frog.
He's
a
one of
toad. We thought you was a toad. Great movie. Some of the best writing, some of the best Coen Brothers writing, I think, out of any of all their movies, man. All the lines, everything in there was.
John Turturro.
Yeah.
Tim Blake.
There it is. I forget
Tim
his
Blake
name.
Nelson.
Tim Blake, yeah.
Were those the Raising Arizona guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they're great writing, but that movie in particular, everything, just even the John Goodman scene where he's like the Cyclops, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, every little dialogue in the words, it was a brilliant movie. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Wow.
Yeah, literally. Oh, Brother, where?
He was willing to go to jail for it.
Yeah, seriously.
Right? Yeah. Right. All right. So now we're here with Micky Pegg.
We are here with Micky Pegg, formerly of CAO Cigars, and who has had a lengthy cigar and Davidoff.
Lengthy career.
Felipe Gregorio, and it was out for a while.
So before we went to the break, we were talking about the acquisition, right?
Right.
So now this family-run company just got acquired by one of the major conglomerates.
It was Scandinavian Tobacco, and it was headed by, I guess, Niels Fredrickson.
At the time, yeah.
It's still at the top.
Yes.
So we actually were acquired by Scandinavian Tobacco at that time, and I think they rolled it into General after that.
Yeah. So now General Cigar Company owns the brand.
Right.
If I remember correctly, there was basically a mass exodus shortly thereafter.
Yeah, so when Scandinavian Tobacco, General wasn't even on the radar, at least from a CAO standpoint, or I guess we knew that it was going to go into that portfolio. So it happens. I immediately get promoted to vice president of sales. I'm like, vice president of what?
Right.
Because I was national sales manager. So
now that was vice president of sales for the CAO line, or
that was for all, and we're going to do. We're bringing in the Cafe Cremes was really big for him, and I think it's still a big monster out there. I know you were talking about numbers, yeah. And then we hired one guy, Dana Grilla, who was amazing. He was from Texas at that time, and now he lives in Chicago. And so I was basically his manager plus the sales force, because we had a direct sales force at that time.
Now is that for all the general brands at the time?
No, it wasn't even part of the general.
Right, it's part. But you guys had some kind of
so it was about a year
at the time. You guys were distributing Tarano brands at the time.
You're right. We'd just taken over the Tarano brand as well. Like Wani and those guys, and those guys all found places to go and great. And Wani was awesome. Armando, they're all brilliant people. It was just I had my marching orders. So. We did that, and they all landed on their feet, and so we had that. So I basically, I think I was the guy that had to deliver a lot of bad news.
They kept you around to deliver all the bad news to everybody.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I looked at my comp program, I'm like, I got a 3% raise, and then my comp plan didn't change. I was like, okay.
Right.
So I guess I should have known at that point. And it was still, we were falling under the Scandinavian tobacco umbrella.
Right.
And then it was time. It was textbook. It was time for me to go. So how
did they tell you?
They brought me into the office.
Okay, at least they brought you into an office.
Yeah.
Some people don't get that. That's why I asked.
Yeah, and that was it. And I walked over to my office and put it in a box, and I went home, and we were going down to see my uncle down in North Carolina and see my little cousin, who's my godson, play football. He's playing for Western Carolina. So it was a big, great family trip, and I was debating to tell my wife before or after that weekend.
Right, don't want to ruin the weekend.
And so, I told her, and she goes, well, you can't go down there. We went down there. It was great.
Yeah.
Just, a guy by the name, my uncle, and just kind of settled me down and said, hey, listen, you've done this before. You've gone through growth. Something's going to happen. So I went back.
Now, when you walked out from the cigar industry. You walked out of the cigar industry at this point. Like, you started a whole other career.
Well, yeah, so if you remember, everybody talks about that recession that happened at that time. So that really, the recession was really, we weren't talking about it. We were talking about FDA. You couldn't smoke anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Even like cigar
chippers on the horizon.
Now, to give our listeners an idea,
when it was 3 cents.
We're talking like this is 2011, 12. We're talking.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Maybe a little bit earlier.
Yeah, maybe
before that.
8, 9.
Somebody's going to come on here and tell us. Yeah, I'm a little foggy because I just wanted to get through that section. So I lingered around Nashville until that Easter, and I went back. I had a friend back in Philadelphia who brought me back, Timmy Irvine, and we went back, and I studied to be a financial advisor. I got all my licenses and all that stuff.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, and it was a big thing for me to get in at that time because the market was terrible. People were cashing out their 401ks.
They were scared.
They were scared. So, again, I'm going into an industry like that at the worst possible time.
Right.
That's why, if you look at our Latin, Ignavius, Odit, Dominus, it means the Lord hates a coward. That's like, hey, everything you do is the worst time. So why not come in at the bottom of a situation and take it to the top? So from there, another buddy of mine, Peter Sims, from Lincoln Financial, which is, right there in Philadelphia, the Eagle Stadium.
Yes.
The Link, or they call it the Drink,
right?
In Philadelphia. We love it.
Philadelphia.
I love it. Well, I live in Delco, as they say. So,
okay.
I didn't know people in Philadelphia called it Philadelphia.
No, they don't.
Because New Yorkers
I
call
might
it
not be able to fly home on Sunday.
Philadelphia fans, they're no joke.
Now you know.
They're no joke.
They'll be waiting for you at the terminal.
Yeah.
Well, I got a bunch of buddies who are ironically down here golfing this weekend. This is a trip they always do in between the Super Bowl. So I'm sure I'll get chastised tonight at some point.
So how long are you doing financial advising?
About 8 or 9 years.
And then what happens to get you the itch to say, hey, maybe I need to go back to the cigar business?
Well, it was, I get back and I get into the wholesaling side. So think of a financial advisor as a retail. So I get in, I'm a retailer again. Because that's
who are you wholesaling to?
You wholesale to financial advisors. So when I first came in...
You mean you were wholesaling in the financial side?
Right. So at first I was a financial advisor, which would be considered like a retail for that business. And then behind that is, in Philadelphia is really the region that kind of invented this wholesaling, because portfolio managers do not how to talk to anybody.
To people, right.
But there's some that do, and they set the base. So this wholesaling, the guy by the name Tim Seifert was one of a bunch of guys that started that kind of wholesaling thing. And I'm probably John Kennedy and all these guys, I'm leaving out some names, but a guy by Peter Sims brought me over to Lincoln Financial, and he goes, listen, I can put you out in the field right away. I'm confident that you're going to be good, but I need you to get on the desk. And the desk is an internal desk that supports the external wholesalers. Kind of like sales guys today, they have somebody call in.
Right.
Sometimes a retailer has a better relationship with that person on the inside. Outside.
Right.
It's very similar to the cigar industry. Even the comp structure, at least with the one I came from, that Mike Condra built for us at CAO. So he goes, listen, I'm going to put you on the desk, you got to train, you got to learn. And I'd already had all my licenses. And we're selling retirement plans, like 401ks, 403bs.
Sure.
So I did that. And they're 29 years old. Here I am, like 39.
Right.
And 1 year to the day, I got promoted, went out to the field, and I got the Mid-Atlantic again. And I knew the lay of the land because cigar business, going to school in D.C. And in the meantime, I was finishing up my grad school at University of Pennsylvania, which, again, hats off to John and Condra helped put that together, paid for that.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah. I was paying for it. I got in a little bit of debt because you could get into debt with a school at that time.
Absolutely.
And then, but I got out of it after I won all that money, but that's a whole nother segment. So I did that, and I was feeling it was great. I got the family on track. Rebound. There was even a couple times where I was working the door at McFadden's just to have a scratch.
So where did the itch come to get back in the cigar business?
The mutual fund retirement industry drove me crazy.
Didn't like it?
No, it was good. It's good. It's something people need to plan for retirement. They need to have that tool. It's important, but it just wasn't me,
All right, so what got in your brain to say, I want to do this?
We were talking about it, and I wasn't
Who's
waiting.
we?
So that's my two partners.
Okay.
So Martin Corboy, who was part of that McFadden's, owns restaurants. Now he's based in Dallas. And then Frank Leo, who's a friend of ours. So that's why we say this company germinated from Washington, D.C., because I went to school there. That's where I met Martin, best friend. He's the godfather of my oldest daughter. We went out the boundaries we never said a non-family member would be a godfather. He's the godfather of my oldest daughter, Tierney.
Right.
And then Kylie and Molly are my other two daughters. Hi, girls. So they said, we got to get in. We can get the money. People that we had for the money at the time, I didn't like. So, because we do. We have some backing. And so Frank Leo, not the other Frank.
Inside joke.
So we met in Dewey Beach. So Dewey Beach is.
So he basically urged you to say, hey, why don't we get back in the cigar business?
Right. So that's why I was from D.C. because So Frank went to the Air Force Academy, went over to Afghanistan, learned how to procure beer and stuff and cigars when he was over there. Came back, and I always got him cigars. So I've known him for over 20 years. And he went to Accenture and had a killer career. Came out and was able to get a couple of angels. And then, obviously we put our time, money, and stuff.
Investors.
Yeah.
So has this brand officially launched yet?
We're a year old as of...
Let me see, is this the brand?
Yeah, as of November 1st.
Let me see. The company's called Allsaints Cigars.
Allsaints Cigars.
Okay.
And this is... Now, that's a mock-up. That's pretty close
so
to...
it's still a prototype.
Yeah.
This one here.
Yeah, that's pretty close. It's about 85%. Like, if you notice, you'll see the Latin inside the shield.
I don't see the name Allsaints Cigars. So are we not putting that on the packaging? Or
no, see, we see the Latin on the inside of the shield? That's going to be in there. That we were testing things around. So now, if you look at...
Now, where did the idea for the name All Saints come from?
Well, here's the funny thing is, the name Dedicación was we had that first, because it was about being dedicated to the people in our lives. And a little selfishly on me, everybody from David Berkebile, matter of fact, that one's called Berkey, after...
It is, it's called Berkey.
And the Toro is going to be called Commandant, because me and Frank, we both went to military schools. His was a little more important than mine. And then the 6x6 we were calling Huge. just because I've always said huge all the time.
Huge.
And then the
wasn't it Trump original saying?
Oh yeah, well I said it for years, but and then I love it. And then the Churchill that's a mock-up band.
Yeah, I'm gonna just get a little image of the band.
Yeah, and there will be a second band under that will say dedication on it. But anyway, so that will be called Coach, and that was inspired from my college football coach. We were playing Dayton, we're coming back, and we lost. And Dayton ended up winning the national championship, Division III, and he was smoked a cigar. And for that guy to smoke a cigar after a loss, well, I guess we had to
do something well, right?
Yeah. And
Now,
he was a big inspiration for me. You know, I started off 4 years of college, and it had to do with him. He took a risk on me to start me as a freshman. And, yeah, those are the factory bands while we're getting Jason's getting all the bands, overnighted bands to me. So I'm
now the cigar looks good.
Yeah.
Where's the cigar being made?
Yeah, so they're made in Tavacusa, the factory that Rocky owns the majority of.
Sure.
And I'm working with
That's
the
in
Milk Car.
Esteli?
Yeah, in Esteli. Right. It's right off the Nika one.
Okay.
So, and then work with him, and then working a little bit with Nimish as well. And that wrapper, obviously is a San Andres wrapper. It's about a medium body.
It's a very nice looking wrapper.
Yeah.
I don't know if the camera will pick that up.
What made
No,
you
with
wanna,
the light
what
on
made
it
you
now,
want
you
to work
can
with
see
Rocky
it looks
to
very
develop
solid.
this
Well,
product?
Rocky and I have been friends for a lot of years, and it just, matter of fact, we talked about when I left CIO left me. I was wanted to do something with Rocky if I was going to go anywhere, and I looked at a couple of places. People flirted with me, and it never happened. But he already hired Dave Bullock, all those things, and he had an infrastructure that I couldn't. There was no fit. There was no fit anywhere.
There was no place for you.
Because if you look at all those national sales managers with those guys today that I could maybe had an opportunity to work with, they're all still there. They're all doing great jobs. And obviously Nick just promoted his son, which is great. And then I remember when his son would help us emergency get tobacco. So God bless his son is doing great. I love it. So that's it. Where was the train of thought? Where was I going?
Why work with Rocky to develop?
And that's why, because I always trusted him. So there was a time too when the rumor mill back in the day that he was going to take over Davidoff and got to know each other.
Davidoff,
right?
Make him president.
And I loved his cigars.
That wasn't a rumor, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying everybody. It was a rumor, but it ended up not really being a rumor. It was actually in the mix of maybe happening.
It was almost done. I think. I don't know. Rocky and I have never talked about it since then.
The story I got is pretty much was almost kind of done twice. I mean, they really wanted, because Peter was the president of Davidoff at the time, and I guess they were courting Rocky to be president of Davidoff. This is before Rocky had really taken off with his Rocky Patel brand. At that time, he was just Indian tobacco.
He really had some, and I think that's what might have held up.
I mean, it really was the best thing that ever happened to him in retrospect, right?
Yeah, look at the
job. But what happened was it was supposed to be completely under wraps, and then the rumor all got out, and they didn't want nothing to do with it. They fell apart. Then right before the trade show, supposedly they had a private meeting in a suite that no one was supposed to know about. They wanted to, make it happen and see if they could get this done without it becoming. And literally, like on the show floor, like hours after that meeting, Rocky's becoming the new president of Davidoff, and it just
everybody finds.
Is that when you were Ming, the Merciless? Was that when you were Ming?
It could be, man. The years are
how's
blurred.
a retailer paying for this?
Literally,
we were talking about it last week.
That was the year my face was all over the Drew Estate booth. I mean, literally. They had 10 by 10 canvas.
Was that when your modeling career peaked?
Right? That canvas still hangs in my one of my stores. That canvas from that booth.
Oh, really?
Yeah. God rest his soul. Scott Chester, who was Acid. The character
right.
Acid,
Absolutely.
Scott died?
No. But Ashman, who is is worked with him in his company, or who actually did that photo shoot, passed away in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
Like a couple years after that photography.
That was horrible.
Yeah. Anyways, on less morbid things.
So a lot of exciting things. So that's why working with Rocky, and you always go in threes, and we had Rocky in mind, and Frank came down with me, and we went and met, and we thought we were interviewing Rocky, and Nimish, and Nish, and Dave, and Hamlet. They were interviewing me. Like, if they're going to let me have access to, that factory and his library of tobaccos and use those resources, which if we didn't have something like that, I think, and we do, and our capital is strong, but I think that would have put a little bit of a pinch on our cash flow to start we didn't have that.
Right.
Well, that support from Rocky.
Now this is
And his
not
team.
on retailer shelves right now.
No, it's not.
When do you expect to have product that you will start shipping to
We want to ship
retailers that consumers can actually buy?
Yeah, so we want to ship that on March 17th. So the
Oh,
boxes are almost
not
done.
far off.
Yeah, so that cigar's been sitting for about 9, 10, 11 months.
Is this the product that's going to...
Yeah, so that probably is not, and I have some of those, and I have plenty of those to smoke, but one of the things I want to do is, those are the ones that I've had that I'm kind of going around and meeting with people I trust and saying, here, take a look at this, take a taste of this. But the ones that are going to come out in March, they're in the cedar closet, resting, as we say. You know?
So they're not even going to taste good.
I want to put both of them together.
Sure.
It's delicious right now. I can't wait for you to have it.
Sure.
But you have them right next to each other. It's going to be fun. That's where the geek comes out and have fun with it.
Right.
And, it's like bourbon. It's that predictive judgment. Is this going to work at the end of this
now
year?
You're speaking my language.
Right.
So the actual name Allsaints.
Right.
There's a story behind that, right?
Yeah.
Because the three of you.
Right.
Go ahead. You can tell it. I won't tell it for you.
So dedication. we knew we wanted to call it that, and it was like, hey guys, this has to be, the 21 years I was in it, the 20 to 25 years I'm going to be in it.
Just so we're clear, dedication is the line name.
Yeah. That's correct.
Allsaints Cigars is the company.
This
line is called dedication.
Right. And we want to make sure that we delineate all our lines that come out, so each line does have their own personality. Mm-hmm. With that said, there's a Solamente that's up there. I don't want to confuse
you
anything.
You mean something that's clear to the consumer?
Wow,
what a concept.
Well,
because there's no manufacturers that make things complicated to the point where the retailers can't even understand it.
Every retailer said to me...
Sarcasm.
They said three things to me. Every single one. One, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Two, make sure we can pronounce the name. And three, make sure we can delete whatever that word is.
Delineate.
And, I went to bed at a decent hour last
Listen,
night.
I get that. It's an age thing. It happens to me a lot now, too.
Yeah, I got to stop using
your
SAT
head knows the word, but your mouth just doesn't want to say it right.
Yeah, my wife will differ. She'll say my mouth works faster than my head. I get myself in trouble, with the in-laws sometimes. But,
They forgot the fourth thing.
What?
Don't make a weird box.
Yes.
Well,
make something that works in a humidor.
Yes. Well, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to. It's simple. If you look at the Vista, you could probably maybe pull up that Vista, the top one. Is there a Vista in there?
Not that I missed. Oh, maybe it's underneath. Hang
on. No.
Here it is.
Yeah, here it is. So that's the actual Vista that we're going to use. So, and that's going to be reminiscent of definitely what the cigar band's going to look like with that Golden Boss. We did a really good job. I wanted to pop one classic one. It's something that's timeless. And I remember when I was working at Davidoff, one of the things that captured me, and Davidoff had a really big influence, but Davidoff was kind of sometimes hard because at that time, I had a great Davidoff. Well, what was it? Was it a Grand Cru? Was it a Mill? Well, what series was it? Was it,
Oh, you don't know.
Right. And if you knew how to read the band, which I did, do you have the band? No, but it was a white band. Like, they would talk to you like you're a moron.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I know it's white gold, but there's a little...
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that describes five things.
How you doing there, sir? That's what we wanted to do. And when I went over to, one of the times I went over to Switzerland, my oldest daughter, Tierney, was born, and they gave me a Dom Perignon. Davidoff, that was in the Cuban. The Cuban.
Wow.
One of the ones that Zeno didn't throw into the fireplace.
Wow.
And I love...
he's not kidding.
And I love that... my wife's a big champagne drinker. She loves champagne. I love that crest. That kind of... like the shield.
Yeah.
So... but it's this Dom Perignon on it, and it's a really neat piece. And that was always in my mind. So that white and that gold, that's why you see all these influences of the white and the gold on this initial line. And the flavor profile is a lot of my inspiration from, working with Tim and Huber, at CAO. So
did
it's
you
really...
go down to Esteli to work with them?
Oh, yeah. Went down with Melcar, and Nimish was down there. The other brand, Solamente.
Did Nimish stay sober?
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you.
Asking for a friend.
Yes, asking for a friend. He was unbelievable. We get out of the airport, and it had been a while. Our first trip down there, it had been a while since I'd been down there, and obviously I wasn't going down in 2018. Yeah. So it's so funny when you go up Nika 1 and see all the Sandinista signs and all that stuff. So we get out of the airport, and he goes, no, as we're going through customs, he goes, make sure you get the you like rum too, right? Like, yeah, I love Florida Connie. He goes, get the 4-pack. It's $4.40. Drink 2 while we're down. We're down there for like a day and a half. No, right? We're down for 4 days. You can drink 2 and take home 2 because you're gonna have to check your luggage because you're gonna have to bring samples back. And so, and every day we would sum up the day when we go. We were staying at the Hex on that trip, and we'd sit on the balcony and just go over all our notes and everything that we talked about. Because sometimes a mill car is great, but sometimes there's a little bit of a translation. So, and the more you work with him, the more he can understand where you're going. So, so going down to Nico, it's always fun.
So, on the 17th, as you said, when you hope to have the brand launched, how many...
That's what we want to ship,
Yeah, how many offerings are you going to have available, or what is actually going to be available?
Yeah, so there's going to be 4 sizes. It's going to be an ongoing brand.
Of the Dedication.
Of the Dedication. The Robusto, as I was saying before, is going to be called the Berkey. And we named it after David Berkebile, who is...
Does he know?
I don't think he does. I forgot to call him.
You didn't tell him? I mean, it's like kind of an
He was invoice 001.
His invoice is 001.
So when I went to meet with him, he goes, I get $1, get my first $1. He says, real pristine dollar. I'm like, no, give me a really dirty one. I want a really dirty dollar. So he signed the $30, and it was great. Well, we were going to go with traditional names and decided to have a little fun with it. And also, my partner Frank, his Burke is his kid's name, spelled different.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot more meanings, just the one I'm telling you. And then the Toro, obviously, we're going to call Commandant. And I actually was inspired by my Commandant at Valley Forge Military Academy. Frank tells me that he was avoiding his Commandant at the Air Force Academy. So,
wow.
So that was. But that's why he's been so successful.
Well, I gotta tell you, I've been finger banging this cigar since I've taken it out of the box.
Reminds me of prom night.
But right? But I'm just gonna tell you, that from what I could tell, just without even cutting or drawing on this construction, on this thing seems extremely solid.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, this is a well-filled, not too firm, not too soft.
Well, hopefully,
it's a good-looking cigar.
I like firm. I'm not afraid of having a firm cigar anymore. Now, if you remember,
if we'd got some before the show, which our producer's normally supposed to do,
right?
When we have a skilled producer, but Paul's the best we can afford.
Right.
But we like to get the cigars before the show so we can actually smoke them and talk about them on the air.
Right.
Since in our current studios, we can't smoke. Now, hopefully, in another couple of months, when we ever finish the construction in our new studios, we will be smoking. In the
studios. That's awesome. Well, we were goofing around going back. You and I were texting, and you knew I was going to be down here, so we just kind of extended the trip. So. But, they're all draw tested. One of the things I remember when I exited the business, there's about 65-70% of the people that you confirm draw tested every cigar. Now it seems like everybody does it. If they're not doing it, they have the machinery in their factory. They're just skipping a step.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the machines. I've been to factories where those machines are just covered up.
It's like,
yeah.
One time I'm down there with Nimish, and I think it was the first time down there. And Nimish kept going, "This is the thing, Mickey, that's gonna make your cigar. It's a draw tester." I'm like, I love the draw tester.
We've never seen it. We call this a wheel. I don't know if you've ever seen one, but it's called a wheel.
But what's good though is I love.
It's gonna be huge.
I love the passion. Matter of fact, one of my jobs. A lot of people talk about the humidity around the cigar. They don't talk about the moisture that's in a cigar.
Of course.
They'll talk about humidity. One of the things I did just before I left CAO, John sent me to Hamburg to go over, and we did a moisture test. Because you want about 8%, 9% moisture in your cigar.
In the cigar itself.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
There's actually a new tool.
Yeah.
By a guy.
Oh, it's incredible.
I forget what it's called.
We're going to have
Cigar Medics.
He's going to call.
Cigar Medics, yeah.
Cigar Medics.
He's coming
awesome.
on the show. He's actually going to be a vendor at the Great Smoke, but it's literally like a meat thermometer. Like you could put it into your cigar.
Well, I think it's the same
humidity
technology.
The inside of the cigar.
The Plasterwall guys do it too.
Yeah. So.
But and then what he does is he converts that to the moisture to relative humidity.
Yeah.
It'll tell you all about it. And it's a fun thing. I use it all. I use it all the time.
It's totally a Cigar Geek product.
Right, because all my sample cigars are in my house right now, and I got one of those tall things.
See, it's really funny because I've gotten past my Cigar Geek years, right? That's always early on,
right.
And you just kind of get past it. Now I'm re-going through my geek stages in wine because I've just now gotten heavily. We've drunk wine, we crack any bottle, pour it, and drink it, right? We never thought twice about it. Now I got aerators, I got freaking what do you call it? What's the big round thing you pour the wine into?
A decanter.
I got decanters. I got fridges. I got a Coravin. I mean, now I'm re-experiencing my whole geekiness.
Sounds like my house, but I'm sure yours are way nicer.
In the wine, becoming. Being that your wife is really very knowledgeable. You guys should come over for a wine and
We'd love to. I mean, she's pregnant now. She can sip.
Oh, that's right.
She does
Actually,
sip.
you know what? I think the doctor told Brandy she could have a glass of red wine every now and
Yeah,
then.
my wife would have one every now and
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
So she does. She does, but people freak out
People
about
freak
it.
out, yeah. Oh,
People
my
freak out.
God.
But we have a friend
Kinda
that's a
like
doctor.
Larry David.
Meanwhile,
Thank you. Yes, you took the joke from me.
I forgot my dad. Meanwhile, my mom was just toking down cigarettes during both their pregnancies. You know.
My wife got a book from her mother, and it was from like the 50s that was given to her from her mother. And it said, keep it to like 2 martinis and 1 cigarette a day.
Right?
Swear to God, I'll get a photocopy. I gotta find it and I'll send it up to you.
That's awesome.
All right.
And my wife was like, this is amazing.
All right, on the line now, Mr. William Cooper, if I'm not mistaken, is calling in from Colorado?
That's correct. Good morning.
Hello, Coop. What is going on, and why in the world are you in Colorado?
Why not?
Well, I'm actually here. I was actually here for non-cigar business. I had my national sales meeting, and I can just tell you, like in my business, my national sales meeting is a national sales meeting. Is all I'll just say.
Listen,
I'm not.
Coop, I want to do this little thing with you if you want to participate. We're gonna start.
Absolutely.
We're gonna start like a little thing that's gonna track your cholesterol level throughout the year. It's gonna be a little barometer.
I'm in big trouble already this year.
Like I just want to see where the current number's at, and we're gonna track
dude,
it.
your eating is out of control, dude.
We're gonna track where it's at, man.
So Dojo took me out for that Colorado pork chili, and yeah, and it was good.
At a dive bar.
My poor man, Coop.
Hey, Coop, it's Mickey. And I know we haven't met, but I love the fact that you're a Phillies fan. I follow you, so it's you're a Phillies fan,
Oh, no,
right?
I know. Oh, that's great. Yeah, so you're a Phillies guy. Yeah, so that's awesome. Yeah.
You never met Coop?
Maybe back in the old days. I doubt it.
I know, Mickey, I think I met you, actually, because you mentioned Craig Cass. I think you were in town when I first moved to Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
And did a
The
sale
Hickory
event.
Club
Were
or
you down
something?
at, like, the old club?
Yes.
The old downtown club? Yeah.
With
I think
Avo?
we
Was
met
that with
then.
Avo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
so
so you have
Coop, let's see what's going on in the news this week.
Well, you guys...
Hey, yo, what's my theme music? The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
There's a lot of pressure going on there.
This is Coop's first. This is Coop's first time. Coop, you spoke over your intro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I can't hear the intro.
Oh, really? Okay, well, start again. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can't hear the intro on the phone. I mean, Adam just started talking.
iHeartRadio's finest here.
Yes, thank you. I heard radio. All right, so Coop, what's in the news this
start
week?
that story again.
Oh, so I missed both my Colorado story. Oh, that's good. That's good, actually. So the big news, obviously, is weekend, which you guys hit at the top of the show. And, Adam, I think the information you have is the information I'm hearing as well. That, as well as Abe, your information, I think they were kind of already looking to get out already as well. So I think you guys covered that already. But it's a big story. It's a big loss for the trade show.
I mean, okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, is it a big loss? I mean, is it okay? Let me rephrase that question. And for those of you who weren't around the first hour, obviously another breaking news in what I call the purge of 2020 of everybody bailing on the PCA, our trade show. Is it really a big loss for the show other than revenue?
Well, yeah, and I would look at it as,
outside of
look
creating
at it
a
as
little
revenue.
excitement because
people
they
would buy
gave
from Phillips and King, so it's not like they were exhibiting a lot other than the Ventura stuff, which isn't huge. So but I know people who do a lot of ordering with Phillips and King at this trade show.
Yeah, but is it a big loss for a trade show? I don't know. I think, like I said earlier,
They lost trade shows. I mean, they had a lot of square footage.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
other than revenue, right? I don't know if honestly the premium cigar show was typically really a Phillips and King event. Outside of creating a little bit of excitement with giving away a Rolex, and I'm not even sure they still did that in the last few years.
Ooh.
Oh, that was a big thing at the end of every trade show, right? And they did that for years.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, like, when I first got in this industry, right, everybody was walking around with Phillips and King's bags, right? Or it was Cretek bags back then, right? And they had girls. But in the last few that I've attended, and I haven't went to the last few years worth, man, their booths are empty. It was like a ghost town walking around.
No, I wouldn't say last year they weren't empty. They were empty booths. I wouldn't put them into it.
Yeah, you're talking like 3-4 years ago, right?
Maybe longer.
Yeah.
But But, it wasn't what it was when I first got in. And you want to know what? I really don't know, and I think they knew this too, if the Premium Cigar Show was really a place that they needed to be. They're more C-store oriented. The TPE is literally their show,
It's their show, yeah.
It's literally their show, and really the show that they kind of really probably do way better in. So, I'm just saying, they were just looking for the wind to blow the right way, probably, and say, hey, look, we're not coming to this show anymore. And, they got it.
Apparently, they didn't give away a Rolex last year. Casey Aldulani said they gave away a motorcycle.
Motorcycle. I mean, that's your shtick every year.
I'll take the Rolex.
Right?
How am I going to ship a motorcycle back is my real question.
Yeah, that's the nightmare.
Right.
You win something like that? Now, what the hell do I do with this?
Our listeners, or do you want us not to?
Well,
hold off.
Sure.
Because
because by the time I get back from the show, I'll have all the bands. Matter of fact,
I just think
Jason sent me the bands. I'm going to put them on.
Oh,
I'm home for a day. I'm putting them on the cigars because I've done it. I know how to put them on. I got the glue.
I just think it'd be cool for listeners to get these pre-banded, whatever, be one of the first people in the country to try it.
With the factory band, or do you want them
No,
with
this. I want. Is this all right? Was that all right with you?
Yeah.
All right, so listen, AJ Smokes is going to do some promo this week or some little thing.
You tell me what it is before I leave. Hey, who's going over to the shop with me? Who's going to smoke with me?
I got a monster truck show with my son.
Monster truck?
I got a monster cigar I want to smoke.
I know.
Oh, I know.
Listen, I told you when you called me. This is not.
Yeah, I know.
My crap is all over the place.
I love it.
But yeah, we're going to give away this 4-pack on KMA Talk Radio on our Facebook page. You could be the first people really in the country to try this cigar that's not even banded, ready for market. This is out of Micky Pegg's own personal stash he's walking around with. So we're going to give this away on AJ's. Pay attention to AJ Smokes on KMA Facebook. That'll go out. So, Coop.
We'll talk about it after something we do.
What else is going on this week, Coop?
There's a bunch of announcements with TPE starting next Wednesday. You're starting to hear some product announcements right now. And there's more product announcements than in previous years because there's been some incentives for people who are actually exhibiting at TPE. There's some discounts in terms of the cost of exhibiting. So in turn, if companies agree to release new products, they get a discount. So you're seeing some new products hit.
Is that what the drive? Because I was saying I've never in the whole history of my career saw premium cigar companies say, hey, we're making something that we're releasing at the TPE show. And now they're all doing it. Is that what the incentive, man? These guys at the TPE are really smart.
Yeah.
They're really smart, man.
Yeah. And this is not just like me making this up. This was announced. We actually reported this back in the fall on Cigar Coop. So they actually put out a statement on this. And it's not a huge discount, but any discount is still good. And a lot of companies are taking advantage of it right now, big and small.
Well, that's a very interesting thing. I mean, I've seen that more than ever. Anything else going on in the news? Are you going to the TPE, by the way?
I'm going to be at TPE. I'll call in next week from TPE for sure, so I'll be there. But Drew Estates made some announcements. They're releasing a line extension to the Corona Pequeño line extension, the Undercrown. They're going to bring back one of the Facebook cigars that you call it, Abe, the Year of the Rat.
I was going to bring that up. So when do we expect them to get in a fight with Davidoff over the releasing a Year of the Rat?
I don't think they can.
No, I thought they lost. I thought they lost that because they gave away a whole bunch of boxes they made that they never gave out at the show because I thought it was some issue they were having with Davidoff. Now, are they going through with it?
Well, let's put it like this. They're not the only ones doing Year of the Rat cigars. But there's a few going on outside the U.S. I don't know what the battle is in the U.S. right now.
Right.
But someone told me that they can't, that may not be able to be trademarked.
It probably can't. So it's the same as Christmas. Like you could call it a Christmas cigar, but
right,
like Christmas beer.
Yeah, you can't trademark it.
Well, last year they had made some, and then they ended up not putting it out on the showroom floor.
Because they got scared.
Well, it was a China release, right? And then what they did was they just gave them to select retailers as gifts instead of talking about
red
it.
boxes with gold.
Yeah, remember I had a box.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, yep.
So that's interesting.
Yep, yeah. So but they're going to have that as an event-only cigar as well. But they're showcasing it as TPA. And Year of the Rat actually is a cigar that's been around for a while too. They used to have it as when they had the Drew Estate Lounge in Sunrise, Florida.
Yes.
That was available there. So actually, I went down. I have actually smoked that cigar. It's really good too.
Absolutely, sounds like a good time.
Cigar nobody will be able to get.
Can I mention something, Cooper? Are you done with news and headlines?
Yeah, go ahead.
You got a little up in a tizzy yesterday on Facebook when Abe.
Over what?
So Abe commented he tagged you.
I didn't know if there was a missing post, because his post really didn't make sense to me. I didn't understand it. It looked like he was replying to somebody, but I don't know what. So
I agree. So I don't know if but usually we would see it if it was hidden or deleted. But what, you got tagged in a post that
I made a post because you and I had.
I think there might have been a misunderstanding with it on my part. What happened is, I saw I was tagged in a post with Trump, right? And here's the thing: I have
Abe tagged you in the
skin
post.
in the game in a political fight. But typically, my policy is I don't get involved in these anti-Trump things.
Right.
Look, Skip Martin was trying to bait me on my show the night before on it, right?
I know.
Right?
I saw.
Look, Mike Bellady and Skip Martin are going to just die early because they're going to try to convince the other side. So I think I tried to untag it, and then there was a comment there. And I might have misconstrued what Abe put up there. It was something more on the Tobacco 21 thing. So I think that was more of a misunderstanding on my end.
Yeah, it really wasn't a Trump. Nobody reads. That's the problem,
Yeah,
right? They just skim.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. Yeah.
And so is Jeff Borshwitz. It wasn't. Look, he was, because he made a comment too. It wasn't nobody. It wasn't a pro-Trump, and it wasn't a pro-21. It was the comment and debate that you and I had about the maturity of 18, 19,
where they get their
olds,
And
right?
that's it. I realized.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, this kid strung along put together more coherent sentences in one dialogue than I've heard from any 19-year-old probably in a long time. He was a very intelligent kid. Now, and my point was, whether you agreed with his views or not, I was just impressed he could speak that intelligently. And that, literally. So I was like, here's a perfect example of how there are, exceptions to our argument, and that's all it was. And then it became a pro-Trump thing, and then Jeff chimed in, if you could die for your country, you should be able to smoke a cigar. And that's never been my argument, If you could die for your country, you definitely should be able to smoke a cigar, and you definitely should be able to
So
vote.
just make everything the same
Well,
age as yours.
once again, nobody really reads the commentary, but it wasn't a debate. It was just like, look at this intelligent kid. So obviously there are some 18, 19, 20-year-olds that actually can be coherent, whether you agree with their views or not. It wasn't even about his stance for a view.
Maybe like the way you posted it. I don't know. I
kind of
it was entertaining as hell.
Yeah, Skip 2 nights ago started calling me a Trump guy on the show. Like, where do you get this stuff, right? Now, I'll disclaim, I went to a Trump rally once, right? Why? Because I wanted to see a presidential candidate, but I would have went to any candidate's rally. Like, I don't have this, like...
Is that true?
I don't understand people, like, why they do this. All they're doing is antagonizing people.
Listen, when Skip is done with his Xbox and polishing up all his watches and showing off of rums that he gets that no one in the world could find, he trolls on he trolls on Facebook so he can rile up entertainment. He gets bored.
Right.
I mean, what else can you do when you live in Nicaragua?
He's lucky he has an internet connection, to be honest, right? I mean...
I did... I'll tell you this. Bellady's gotten worse than him. Bellady's gotten worse with the political stuff than him. On the other side.
He does post a lot. Him and
He's
my father-in-law.
gotten way worse.
Him and my father-in-law at the top.
Yeah, Skip's actually calmed down a bit on it to some extent. Not totally, but yeah.
Mike Bellady posts from passion and what he believes in. Skip totally posts to see who he could rile up and instigate in our whole dialogue.
That's a fair comment.
Do you think that's what he's doing? He's just trying to get it. Wow. Okay.
Absolutely.
I can see that.
You got to remember, the industry's kind of more anti-Skip's views.
Absolutely.
He knows what he's doing.
No, he loves that position too.
See, I like Skip more and more now.
Yes. Skip sits on the shitter with his phone and goes, what can I say right now that's going to really rile people? Here it is. And then he just makes a post.
And now I want to try his cigars.
You have tried his cigars?
No, I have not. I have not had his cigars.
Really?
You had a bunch, but
really?
I've never tried one. No.
Sucker.
No, because you said you liked them. You're like, they're pretty good. I'll smoke them.
They're pretty good. Listen, I've never said Skip makes bad cigars.
No, you did not.
Skip makes good cigars. Skip just doesn't have a model that works for anybody that really wants to sell his cigars. It works for basically him and him alone. I like him. I like his cigars too. Yeah. I mean, I'll buy them retail if I'm out and I find them, but it just doesn't work for anybody who really wants to sell his brand.
So Coop, what's coming up on Cigar Coop this week?
There's going to be a bunch. Obviously, TPE is going to be the focus of things. There'll be the TPE preview should be out by tomorrow, so that's going to be the big thing. Then there'll be coverage from TPE throughout the week, so you can expect to see that.
And how drunk did you and Master Sensei get last night?
Not much. No, we didn't.
I saw you sign the
It was
refrigerator. You signed the refrigerator in his garage? That's a big deal.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the refrigerator. Like the garage, the dojo studios actually has suns out, and it's a really, really cool setup they have. It's a standalone garage, but you walk in there, it looks like a studio. It doesn't look like a garage.
And he's got air circulation in there, everything that they put in. He was talking
Yeah,
about.
It's better than our
yeah.
studio.
I mean,
it actually.
Yeah, my studio needs some upgrades after this.
But there's no
as
heat
well.
in there. Is there heat in there?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have some pretty good insulation on top
like
of it.
a
They have an
kerosene
AC
heater
in there.
That's cool.
All right, Coop, we look forward to hearing from you from the TPE next week. Say hi to the dojo guys for me while you're still there.
Yep, I'll be calling from Vegas, so I'll still be in Vegas when we talk.
Is this your first TPE?
Yes.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
Ooh, I look forward to your thoughts on the differentiating between
that's gonna
TPE
be
and DCA.
that's gonna actually segment him some good time. I'd like to actually pick his brain.
That's next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't.
Yeah, I'm flying out
I've never
Saturday
been to a
night, so
TPE,
we'll have some time.
I was at before they bought.
I've never been to any version of them, no matter who had them. Because Tobacconist Magazine ran it for a while. Was it owned by Tobacconist
I thought it was
Magazine?
NATO, wasn't it?
NATO? Oh, that was NATO.
That was-
I can't keep. Yeah.
Was that a different show?
I forgot about NATO altogether.
Well, now they're not even.
I just remember the day I was always in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, Coop, we'll talk to you next week. Safe travels, my friend.
Take care, everybody.
All right.
See you, Coop.
All right, that is Cigar. Make sure you check out Cigar-Coop for all the latest news, content, and quality information about what's going on in the cigar world every single week.
I want to, before we get into the Cigar Insane Asylum, I want to touch on a thing that's becoming like now the big...
Is that the topic? Okay, I was going to ask if you wanted to talk about it
yes,
this week or
Paulie,
not.
I got it. Thank you, buddy.
I have it here.
But no, I mean, this is like the big topic. I was going to do it. I was actually going to get some of Coop's feedback on it, but Adam just like hurriedly rushing it off the show.
I didn't know you wanted to do.
Let him stay on the end. What do you care?
We should really have Sake in for this conversation.
No,
to be
it's not,
honest.
because there's no right or wrong answer to this. This is mostly a personal a view, but like all the rage, and everybody's talking about now retrohaling. You don't know how to smoke a cigar unless you retrohale.
Who's writing that, Ronnie Haysha?
Haysha,
Yeah, he's all
Everybody's
I got news for you. Gabby Calf made it. Statement.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
Gabby Calf, he said basically, if you don't retrohale, you're not really smoking a cigar. And
That's from a doctor.
I'm just want to take my personal opinion. A lot of people is that, look, retrohaling for me is a different facet in how to experience a cigar, and not everybody goes to all depths. And I'll be telling you, I retrohale. I don't retrohale every cigar
I was just
smoke.
going to ask you that. Not every cigar
I don't
is a retro.
retrohale every cigar I smoke. There are some cigars that I will enjoy retrohales on. There's some cigars that I don't. There's some cigars that I'm smoking in the moment not to get the full experience. Just like there's a bottle of wine I open that I don't decant, or whatever the case may be. So, this big movement that's out there that, you must retrohale. You don't know what you're doing. I just... That's not my personal stance.
Cigars made for retrohaling?
Well, listen, you can make a cigar that's made for retrohaling based on a retrohale taste, absolutely. But, I don't think guys out there should feel pressured, like, if I don't do this. No, dude, everybody enjoys a cigar in the way they're going to enjoy a cigar. And if you haven't tried retrohaling, it's another facet in a way to experience a cigar. So if you want to delve down to expanding how you smoke cigars and how you experience cigars, just like anybody who's into wine and how they store and age. I mean, every passion or every hobby that's like this has different levels of depths that you're going to go to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? There are people who'll always be, I'm going to buy a bottle of wine in a store, cork it, pour it when I want to drink it, and that's so be it. That's their extent of what they're going to get into that hobby. Doesn't mean they're not enjoying the wine when they're drinking it. Doesn't mean it's not good wine. That's the level into which they want to delve into enjoying it. I think retrohale is along that same lines, right? It's a way to experience a cigar. Some people may do it. Some people may not do it. It's not that you're not missing out on experience if that's not how far you want to go do it. You're still enjoying a good cigar. You can enjoy a good cigar without retrohaling. Retrohaling just provides another facet in which to taste and experience smoking a cigar. And that's basically my comments on it, because I've seen more posts in the last 2 to 3 weeks, maybe in the last month or two, than I've ever seen discussed about retrohaling.
I've seen it for a lot, and I tell you, a lot of my buddies that are avid cigar smokers that I've smoked with for 20 years, we used to retrohale all the time. That was something we always did, but I don't remember ever talking about it before. And I see it, and one of my guys, I'm thinking about Joe Fasanella, I don't think he asked me one time how to retrohale. I'm like, I don't know how I do it. I just do it.
It's natural now. You don't think about it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. And he tried to do it.
He almost died.
Almost threw up.
Yeah.
If you don't do it right, you're inhaling, and that's a problem, right? But it's funny because when I was sitting with Todd Anderson of Anderson Con Valley Wines, who makes phenomenal wines out of Napa. In fact, I think he makes one of the most expensive bottle of wines. One of his Ghost Tour series, the $5,000 bottle of wine.
Pinky's up, yo.
But it was funny because I was explaining.
Come on, that was
he's an avid cigar guy.
Right.
So when we were in Napa, we were sharing cigars, and I was explaining retrohaling to him because he hadn't done it and hadn't known about it. And what's funny is I was realizing that I was retrohaling my wine.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was drinking my wine, just out of natural reflex.
Right.
And then it connected for him because that's kind of what he normally does. So
you get it on the back.
Right? Yeah. And it was a whole different experience from now smoking cigars.
There's different flavors that I agree with the part of the movement that I have found with certain cigars. There's different flavor profiles that I will get if I retrohale.
You'll
I feel like
experience a different experience.
Yeah, but there's certain cigars that are just way too peppery, at least my taste, that are way too peppery for me to
Or you
retrohale.
get nothing out of retrohaling them.
Right. Sometimes you get the pepper on the retrohale and you won't get it on the taste.
Right.
Yeah,
because you're more sensitive there, maybe.
Now, do you retrohale beer?
Well, he's a big beer guy.
A saison would say you do.
Because the carbonation, how would you do it?
Well, see, it's a lot like when you with wine, like you said, when you're retrohaling wine, you can do the same thing a lot with bourbon, where you just kind of let it go through the entire palate. Yeah. You can do the exact same
Last
thing.
time I did that, I broke out handcuffs.
I do the same thing with beer a lot, where I'm trying to pick out every single note of what hop variation, what yeast variation is in there. So yeah, I kind of do that as well.
It does help you identify specifics.
Sure.
Well, you're supposed to. So when you were tasting wine in Napa, did they tell you that when you smell the wine that you should have your mouth open to smell?
Did.
Yeah. There's a reason for that, because you want it to get throughout your
Factors.
entire palate. Yeah.
Sure. Yes, they did.
So I guess that part of it does make sense.
It was just natural. I didn't have to think about
Right.
it.
Your number one taste bud is your olfactory glands. I'm convinced of it. We always talk about the umami, the rails, the salt, all that. But, when you get up there and you get into the back of your mouth.
Because your sense of smell is so...
And then it helps you identify stuff.
I believe that because there are a lot of foods that I don't particularly like, basically strictly because the aroma I don't find
correct.
I enjoy.
Yes.
Right?
But if you try
it, they're cooked differently and it doesn't smell like its natural state, I actually don't mind eating it. Right?
Yep.
Eggs is one of those things. I don't like the way eggs smell.
I don't like anybody making my eggs except for my wife or a diner.
So if
my wife's the
I'm
same
just
way.
not an egg fan. I don't like the smell of eggs, so I don't enjoy eggs. But my wife makes them a certain Middle Eastern way where it's a lot of parsley and onions, and they actually come out looking green. They taste great. They smell great. I love eating that egg. So I totally believe that your taste buds.
Can I come over for eggs tomorrow before I go to the airport?
My wife loves making it, man. My kids love it. It's the only way they love eggs. It's their favorite way to make eggs too. So. That being said, is it that time?
I think it is. Let's see this week who belongs in a cigar insane asylum.
Welcome to the Cigar Asylum,
Did you know I'm utterly insane? We all go a little mad sometimes.
where logic and reason cease to exist.
This week who belongs in a cigar insane asylum, brought to you by CLE and Asylum Cigars.
In my effort today to not hold the piece of paper up in front of the camera for Paul, I'm going to hold it low so I could read it low.
Or you can hold it to the side so that I can still
is
see
this
your
good?
face.
Is this acceptable? Does this work for you?
Go to
Sure.
the left.
You're not going to be able to see it.
Yes, I can. This week's inductee is the same guy that reads the articles in Playboy. A lawsuit was filed in New York this week, which accuses Canada-based adult Pornhub. Anybody know what Pornhub is?
I'm sorry, what?
Pornhub? No?
Never heard of it.
Nobody?
Never heard of it.
No, never.
Yeah, let me check your browser history. All right,
Go to private.
for it.
Go to private.
And its sister sites of failing... Oh, check this out. They're being sued of failing to include closed captioning in most adult videos. Yeah.
Who has the volume on anyways?
The suit was filed... Usually, listen, the volume's always on. It's just really low sometimes. That's all. Let's be real.
And what they're saying...
We do like the sound.
And what they're saying doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. It's not the words. It's the sounds we like.
Right. I'm very much intrigued by why the plumber is there.
Anybody recognize that sound? right? So, yeah, we got the volume on. It's just low. The suit was filed on behalf of Yaroslav Suris, who's a deaf man. The suit... You cannot laugh during this. The suit claims that Pornhub is violating the rights of people who are deaf and hearing impaired under the Americans with Disabilities Act, but not including captions on their video. I want to be the guy that types the captions up.
Can I get that job?
I want that job.
That sounds awesome.
You know what? I would
Like
totally,
that guy from
listen to me.
Obama and when he's
I would totally fuck with them. You want a cheeseburger and fries? Is that what you're asking me for right now? I would totally fuck with them if I was typing up the captions. So anyways.
Boom, 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 boom.
Serious. Hold on.
We're all out.
We're such children.
Wait, Cirrus claims that it's hard, good use of a word, for him to enjoy many of Pornhub's videos because he can't keep up with the conversation. Okay. I can't wait. I want to go to this court hearing. I really do. I want to see a judge's face during this dialogue. He couldn't follow the plot of a police interrogation or a disciplinary moment involving a babysitter, according to the court documents obtained by TMZ. He also saw no point in signing up for Pornhub's premium subscription service because those videos do not accommodate people who are deaf or hearing impaired. Pornhub's response was as follows. While we do not generally comment on active lawsuits, we'd like to take this opportunity to point out that we do have a closed captions category on our site. Way to keep selling.
It only has about 300 videos, they said.
That's plenty.
Yeah.
I mean, how many
there's only 365 days in the year.
Right.
There's only 3 words in a porno, isn't there?
Wait, this is the 8th lawsuit filed by Cirrus over the last year.
So he's doing this as a career.
Absolutely. He has also filed civil rights lawsuits against the Weather Channel, Fox News, CBS, Warner Brothers, TMZ, Columbia University, Investors Business Daily, and NYPD Holdings, the parent company of the New York Post. Court dockets do not show any resolution to those cases. Congratulations, Mr. Cirrus. You are without a doubt this week's inductee into the Cigar Insane Asylum, brought to you by the fine folks of CLE and Asylum Cigars. And I'm going to tell you where the problem with all these lawsuits are, right? Outside of this insanity of this one, right? Because there's this two-brother team here in Palm Beach County, where one is handicapped, and he goes into places and finds all the disability things, and then his brother sues, right? Because the way it's structured is that fees and penalties are all you can go back in history, right? It's
retroactive.
It's retroactive damages. And what if they would make, if there was anybody in Congress with a brain, make a simple law change that when people were caught violating a Disabilities Act, if they gave them 30 days to cure the problem, address the problem,
like you do with a food
right?
thing, or
and fix it, guess what would happen with all these lawsuits and these lawyers who chase this crap? Go on.
Yeah.
Because now there's no money to be made. And if your goal is to really solve the problem and give these people accessibility where needed, it'd be enough. And that's the problem. It's not. It's about letting these lawyers and everybody go out and make money and abuse the system, and that's my problem with this whole thing. It's really a thing, but
Juan Cancel says he watches porn for the music only.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. Now here's an interesting fact. Before
Who does
we
the
leave.
score?
Right? Listen,
is that Danny Elfman?
Oingo boingo, baby!
Oh my God!
Dead Man's Party.
So wait. But before we go, I want you. When we were talking about this story, you told me something the other day is mind-boggling about Pornhub.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
Listen.
Well,
to
I'm in
this.
digital advertising.
Fun fact of the day.
Listen to this fun fact of the day.
So you're hands-on.
No, wait. Get ready to have your mind blown. Seriously.
So we don't actually work with them, unfortunately, but I know the guys, the ownership of
Right.
Pornhub and all their sites, and their rate card says 15 billion page visits a day worldwide, but between all of their sites. I think they have 5
billion.
sites.
Now, how many people are on the whole planet?
Yeah, sometimes it's one guy getting 100 in.
Doesn't matter. How many people are on the human planet?
6 billion.
6 billion?
Yeah.
So it's 5, 6 billion. And out of that, how many do you think don't have internet?
A lot.
Right?
At least 40% of the world doesn't have internet.
15 billion hits a day.
Where's the region? What region is dominant? That'd be
So
interesting.
actually, I have those stats. I don't have them in front of me. Their data card's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, compared to the other guys I work with, they're
Numbers
the most
don't
amazing. And they
It's got to be the United States.
The U.S. Well, it's funny. The U.S.,
Probably
the U.K., and
Probably
the
You're trying to throw yourself
Not
under
even
the
the United
bus.
States.
Dude, you're never
going
going back.
home.
Yeah. The U.S., the U.K., and I think it was some former USSR country, like a very weird I don't want to name. Yeah, I don't want to
Hunter
Lithuania.
Is it a country that Hunter works in?
Lithuania or something like that.
It's Hunter Biden.
Has a huge.
Holy cow!
Oh,
all right, so who's on next week?
Next week, we are going to talk to the Smoking Chicks.
Oh, okay, yeah. Actually, they
Tickle.
All three will
That's
be
a
on.
great transition.
I won't
isn't
be
it?
here.
Right? They actually just did a video with Terrence Riley. I guess they visited.
I saw
Agenor
the pictures.
Solis.
I didn't see a video.
You know, they did a video. They visited his factory. They went down there.
Oh, so they were at the Nicaraguan Cigar Festival?
No. They visited
in Miami, right?
Well,
they went to Miami. Okay.
And one of them is Smoke Inn.
Yeah,
who,
Smoke Inn.
You know, we've talked. We know who she is, and she's teamed up with two other ladies, and I think they're starting this. Look, I love women in this cigar industry.
Yeah,
I think we need more of them. We talked about it before. And
calm down, Adam. Jesus, you have to sit. I'm not going to be here next week, so you have to sit over here.
We have three pretty women.
I know.
One of my
so
favorite
upset.
customers is women on pairings up in media.
I'm telling you,
they're actually down in Central America. They're amazing.
I think it's the best thing for our industry to have
Julie's
more active
very talented
and involved women in our industry.
Usually more competent in business too. Let's be honest.
Typically, sometimes.
Hello.
Sometimes. So yeah, that'll be a great show.
It'll be a very
Don't
exciting
miss it.
show.
Tune in.
Do I need to get a straight jacket for Adam?
No,
He'll be over here, so he'll be
yes,
separated.
Maybe a bib for the drool. Maybe a bib for
I
the
can't wait.
drool.
The whole show's gonna be Adam and his talking to girl
Well,
voice.
don't forget AJ Smokes.
Hey, how are ya? Oh yeah,
Smokes
AJ will be here.
No, actually, next week he maybe not be here too. Oh, might be missing.
No, yeah, he's got to work next week.
AJ Smokes.
God, I come in all the wrong times. You guys have Bloody Marys, burgers.
You got to come when we have Evan Darnell on from the Red Meat Lovers Club.
Well, I've been following that. I love it.
Yeah, that's definitely on. All right, take us out, man.
Mickey, thank you for being here. Best of luck.
Thanks for having me.
March 17th. Make sure you look for it. Allsaints Cigars. They'll be available at hopefully your favorite retailer very soon. Best of luck. Keep up the good work. Until then, as always, next week, keep it lit.
You're listening to KMA Talk Radio. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
We're on Instagram too.
Yes, it's mandatory.
Cigar Fairy's making rounds.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Keep it lit with K.